started making noise. So everybody, let's join Jesse Arnold and his buddy Curtis Akerman. Because when indulging in fine geekery, it's always best to bring a friend or two. Everybody loves shooting the shell. Let's start shooting the shell. You're gonna love it now. Let's start shooting the shell. Just might make you say wow. Let's enjoy some fun conversation. We'll be shooting the shell around the nation. Let's start shooting the shell.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Shooting the Shelf. I'm Jesse Arnold. With me is Curtis Akerman. And before we get into welcoming the chat, I just want to say real quick, happy Mother's Day, all the mothers out there. But more importantly, happy birthday Eve to this guy. I'm going to point until I figure out which hand is pointing in the right direction.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, good job, mothers. I mean, we definitely, they need their due. But, we don't want to overshadow my birthday Eve. So,
No.
Yeah.
I mean, last year we got to dedicate the whole show to Curtis.
Mhm.
This year we do have a guest. So, you're just going to have to carry over some of that from last year. But happy birthday tomorrow, Curtis.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I would have preferred that my birthday fall on the weekend. I like it when it's on the weekend, but otherwise not too bad. I was going to try to paint today and I just didn't. I don't know. I've been since I got back from California, I've just been feeling really jet lagged or maybe it's not just jet lag. I don't know. Maybe it's just laziness, but dude, I just sat around all day and didn't do crap. So, but
I mean, you got a lot going on. Sometimes you just need to just recoup. It's okay to take a pause.
I do have a little bit easier week this week. So hopefully I can get back into the studio and get some painting done. So,
Hulessa Morlock said Curtis had 63 presents last year, but Curtis, the presents this year are bigger.
Oh.
And then and Michael Fonder caps, I don't care.
Oh.
I don't know if that's a question or a statement or an exclamation. There was no punctuation, so I didn't know what inflection to put on that. So it was just all caps. So well, hey, before we get any further,
I'm not a big birthday present guy. I don't need presents and stuff. I mean, when you think about it, for my birthday, I am the present, right? To the world.
Your presence is the present to all of us.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's really what it's all about.
Thank you for spending your birthday Eve with us tonight.
For sure.
And we could be doing a lot of other things like not painting or
stuff.
Yeah. My brain was just saying not painting over and over. And I'm like, I can't say that again. So do you want to say hi to the chat? Do you want me to say hi to the chat?
Sure, I'll say hi to the chat. Let's see. We got Rob Zamora, El Spooky Zorro out there. Dub3 is in the house. Brian Carr, it's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Brian Carr. James Samudio. We got William Husted is here. Obviously, who less some Warlock. Adam T. Got Carver Customs. Might have some news coming up about something he's doing here soon. Thunderstorm Heart. Got Blake, a.k.a. Recon Rage. I got to see that guy recently. Got a big old slow motion hug. So, Jeremy Goyer. L Tidy. El Spooky Zorro. So, Stacy Lin, two Lins. She's been making the rounds this week. She was on Legion's Ladies on Thursday, and then she obviously was doing the painting thing yesterday, doing their little I'm blanking. what's
Mod
it called?
Squad.
Mod Squad. Yep. Yeah, and the reason I remembered that, because I was like, I totally was blanking. I was like, I know there's something I'm supposed to be watching, but I have no idea. And then I heard birds chirping out my window, and that reminded me, because every time that they're painting, I don't know if Tanya has her window open or if the birds around her are just really loud, but they're always chirping, and it's very like soothing. Just yeah.
Okay.
So I got Kevin Hamilton here. We got two Jessies. We got a Jesse Marshall in the house. So double the Jesse, double the fun. Scrolling, we got Guaisagwe Echevarria.
I'd say there's at least one level of fun now that Jesse Marshall is here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the double mint commercials, you know. So, speaking of which, I know we haven't been doing a really good job of scheduling guests ahead of time lately. Like we used to be really on top of it, but now we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. But Darla mentioned today it'd be nice to have the Echevarria family back on, you know, since all of them are customizing at this point. Maybe bring them on, kind of talk about what things they've been working on and stuff. So I don't know, just an idea.
Okay.
Let's see. Scrolling, we got Benny's here. We got the Legion's Ladies live in the chat. Which, by the way, I know Tanya wasn't able to make it this past Thursday. Stacy did a great job, but huge shout out to Amber. Amber was shining in this episode, man. I think she talked more than I've ever heard her talk in her life, and she did a great job. So great job to Amber. Can't wait to see Tanya back though. Love some Tanya too. And I think that's everybody. So
I got one more to bring up.
Oh, okay.
We're splitting double duty tonight. Happy birthday to Brian Carr. It is your actual birthday today.
Yeah, I said that when I called him out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but that's all right. It's okay. We can double
sorry.
wish him a happy birthday.
I apologize. I take it back, Brian. Curtis already said
as-
happy birthday, and it counts more coming from him since his is tomorrow. So
we can double say his birthday as long as tomorrow you say mine twice. So just make sure you wish me 2 happy birthdays tomorrow, and then we'll be even. So I just don't want him to outshine me. So
all right. Well, we got 2 more late comers. Spoken Druid 403.
Hey, you guys can come whenever you want. We're not here to dictate when you come. I got him, folks.
Well, it's what are we doing? Oh, we're doing a show.
Yeah. Oh,
folks,
I gotta say, see Dusty's there. Dusty's been doing something awesome. I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil anything, but let me just tell you, Dusty is working on something really freaking cool that I think is going to really turn some heads this year, possibly at Legion's Con. So be prepared.
are they going to cough?
No, not that kind of turning their heads. Kevin's here too, and Alberto's here. So, yeah,
folks, before we keep talking any longer, let's welcome our guest tonight, a longtime collector, new-ish to Legions. Everybody put your hands for a digital warm welcome to Mark Lonky.
You know what? Hit him with a whippa too.
Once so. Got it. Mark, welcome to the Shelve.
Thank you.
Can you remove the slideshow? I tried doing it, but I had to add something real quick, so I want to pull it back up.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
I was trying to do it, and then it just wouldn't go off for some reason, but now it looks like it's gone. So,
are you bringing it back up, or am I?
Yeah, I'll bring it back up.
Okay.
I just had
I'm
to
gonna pull this up real quick. Blake clearly sees your flag. Semper Fi from Blake.
Yes, Semper Fi, brother.
Flag.
Semper Fi.
Nice.
My father and one of my nephews were in the Marines, so
Oh, nice.
And
Nice.
Can't claim it myself, but family.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So excellent. Well, Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I
Glad
got
to
to
be
meet you just about a month ago. Like 3 weeks ago at ToyCon, New Jersey.
Yes. Yes. Early bird.
Hanging out in line in the rain, 5 a.m, because Brett wanted to be first in line and he wasn't.
First in line.
I think,
Brett's never late.
He was close enough.
Yeah.
Thanks for hitting the likes.
We were harassed by yes. Welcome, Trevor. Being harassed by birds early in the morning and all sorts of other fun stuff. And we got to hang out and talk with a bunch of other people in line. And got to learn that you were relatively new to Legion. Oh wait, I'm diving into stuff. We have a whole thing at the beginning of the show.
You're fine. You're fine. I did want to pull up this comment from Rob. He says his brother was also a Marine for 12 years. I would like to say, just because this is really my birthday weekend, and I don't want to be outshone. I was not in the military, but I did play with Army men when I was a kid. So there's that. And I really liked the guy with the walkie-talkie. That guy was my favorite.
Oh, are you talking about the little green?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I've been to Paris Island twice.
Okay. That's cool. But I'm talking the walkie-talkie guy, right? Like there's the guys with the guns. Like there's the one guy that's crawling. You got the guy that's crouched down, the guy that's just standing there kind of, but then you got the walkie-talkie guy. And to me, like that's the main guy. Like if you're going to be one of those guys, you want to be the walkie-talkie guy, right? Like he's the guy calling the shots, I think.
Yeah, not
Have
real.
Have you ever watched a war movie?
He's usually a target.
I don't know. I just know the walkie-talkie guy. He's pretty cool.
Everything. Yeah.
You would get those bags of Army guys that would have all those other ones, and there would be usually like one, maybe two walkie-talkie guys. So that tells me they're rare, they're important, and that's who you want to be. So that's my expert military knowledge for anybody out there that's wondering what Curtis's military knowledge is. Walkie-talkie guy.
Are you stealing Steven's stolen valor?
I might be. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't have a tattoo or anything. I might get a temporary one, though.
Oh, boy. Well, before we go down any further rabbit holes and make Mark regret coming on this show tonight, we've got a little segment we like to call Shelf Selections, where Curtis and I have picked some random things throughout the week off Instagram that have inspired or caught our attention. And we'll talk through them. And hopefully it inspires folks, if you're not already following these pages, to find and follow them if you like them. And hopefully I remember to make sure I followed before I grabbed my pictures this time.
Blake says the reason they're rare is because the radio guy lasts 45 seconds in combat.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I think I'd be a pretty good hidden radio guy. All right, here we go. I don't know what order these are in, but we'll see. I know this is one of mine.
Start with you.
This is low_fidelity_customs. Jay Travis. Actually just had the pleasure of sitting down and talking with him this weekend. Normally don't cross promote that much, but I do have a how'd you do that with him on tomorrow morning, dropping with his customs. He does a lot of like color shift and metallic paints, a lot of turbo dork. So we talk about that. We talk about his use of fodder. He's one of those customizers that's still using a lot of fodder from other toy lines, which I think is cool. It's kind of it's almost a lost art at this point. Like we used to do it out of necessity because there wasn't a huge library for Legions, but now it's kind of fallen by the wayside a bit. But so we had a really good conversation. You may know him if you've seen the little clips with his daughter, who's hilarious, where he like will hand her figures and then she will make up a story for the character based on like seeing the character without knowing anything about it. So she is funny as all get out. Her little clips are on his Instagram as well. They were at Legion's Con this past year. He's trying to get her to go again this year. And I just love to see when folks are like doing stuff with their family, whether it's with their spouse, with their kids, whatever, within this toy line. But this is one of his latest ones, and I think this just came out fantastic. He's using the Akapara parts, which normally you see like on a dwarf or like a goblin type body, but here he's got it on a bigger body, and I think it really works here. And then obviously his color palette that he does with the metallics and stuff just looks really cool. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to meet him last weekend at the Lehigh Valley Con, and he brought some stuff, and I guess talked to Len, so we're going to have some of his stuff at shows to show off. And I think this might have been one of the ones that he gave to Len to show. Cool. And yeah, it's really cool. When we first put them up, like the light was coming through the window in just the right way. So a couple of them that had like these neon colors looked like they were actually glowing just because the way the light was hitting them. It was really cool. They're definitely something you got to see in person. Not critiquing the photography. It's just because of those color shifts in the metallics, just turning them in your hand or on the shelf. They're really cool.
He did something really special too, which is he inspired me to read, which not a lot of people do, but apparently with the Turbo Dorks, I guess if you go to their website, they've got some really cool things in there that show like if you layer some of their paints, like how they come out, or if you put it on top of different colors, because it's just kind of a strange paint to get used to with the metallics and the color shifts. But if you combine them in different ways, you can like really come up with some cool stuff. So he's like, on their website, they've got a lot of great information. So I did a little bit of reading this weekend. So
wow.
Yeah, I know. Mark, thoughts on this one?
I think it looks pretty cool. I'm just wondering, the legs, are those Cosmic Legion parts on that?
I believe it's cosmic arms, cosmic legs. I'm not sure if the torso is a Ninian, or I'm not sure what the torso is. And then the Akapara head and feet. So
that color scheme, I'm digging that. That's really popping. Even in that photograph, I can't imagine what it would look like in person.
Yeah, check out the video tomorrow, because he's got some colors, man. Like, I've never done acid, but I'm pretty sure that I would really appreciate it if I did. So, all right, next one's one of Jesse's.
Oh boy! All right, so this is from our buddy Bear Blaze on Instagram. First of all, I know that's an old Mayfec helmet, and I always missed out grabbing one of those. I just think it makes such a creepy face on the helmet, and just the build he's got here with what looks to be either the spare barbarian parts from the site, or whatever it is, and just with those kind of faux fur boots, like shins and everything, it just makes this guy look like a really stocky, bulky like dude that like you wouldn't want to face in combat, let alone have to share an airplane row with him. It just incredible paint job, awesome put together build and everything.
Did he say where the shield is from?
That,
do you remember?
I know I've seen that. I want to say it's Prop Masters or Uncle Jim's workshop.
I've got this one that's Uncle Jim's, but it's shaped a little different, and it's got like a hole in the top to where the blade goes inside of it.
Right.
So this is a little bit different. I don't know if they just have two different versions, or if somebody, maybe did their own kind of version of this that's different, but it is slightly different than the one that I have. But I do like that shield. I don't know if it's just the way that the legs are, because they're a little bit thicker at the bottom than Mythic legs, but this guy feels very beefy for some reason, like more beefy than a normal Mythic Legion. So I like this build. He looks intimidating. So Jim does multiple version. Okay. Yeah. And I will say, like, I haven't gotten a lot of stuff from Uncle Jim's workshop. It's not cheap, but he does some great stuff. Like,
Mhm.
and I think the price difference on a lot of it between the non-painted and painted is not very much. So if you're already going to pull the trigger anyway, if you get the painted versions, he already has it. It comes ready to go. And dude, his stuff is fantastic. So
Yes.
Mark?
That's screaming mythic death dealer for me. Frank Frazetta, just all the way. But a mythic version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
It's the helmet. The helmet is just screaming death dealer.
Blake says it looks like a Storm Collectibles body. It's definitely Mythic Legion. But I could see just the stocking, the way that it looks, it does come across like that.
I think it's especially the boot, like the shins, and the way that the chainmail piece on the neck like hides the upper part of the neck. Like I think that just makes him look so much.
Yeah, he looks like one of those
more
football players that have no neck. So
yeah.
I'm actually curious about the shin pieces. I kind of want to say it comes from the McFarlane Spawn wave, one of those waves of figures, the medieval ones. I want to say I've seen those shin pieces before.
Well, they're cool, whatever they are. So
yeah.
All right. Next is one of mine, and man, I can't wait to get this figure in my hand. I've been waiting for this. Right now it's in Big Bad Toy Store limbo. The pre-orders, it was supposed to be out in April. We're in May, no word on it. I don't know if they're waiting to ship stuff. I don't know if they're trying to figure out tariff stuff. And I'll be honest, if Big Bad Toy Store is listening, I don't care what you charge me double, charge me triple, charge me quadruple. I just want this figure. I'm so excited to get this thing. And this is Raven 0696 with a couple great poses here. One where he's just kind of, putting on that jacket, and then the other one where he's taking flight. And man, this figure looks so freaking good. I've already got the other ones, the Steel and Cyborg Superman and Eradicator, and I can't wait to add this one to my collection. So
I can't wait for you to get it too, so I can stop hearing about it. No, I'm just kidding. Just these pictures are great. I mean, for someone who's not as invested in this storyline and these particular characters, this figure looks fantastic. I love the colors. The jacket's cool. I love both the poses he's got them in. This is really cool. And if I was collecting more Mafex stuff, right? Mafex?
Yeah, Mafex.
Yep. If I was down that line, he would be definitely one I would want.
I'm interested to see how that jacket feels and kind of moves and stuff in hand. I know there was a lot of concerns when this figure was first shown, because I guess, Mezco has dealt a lot with some like kind of fake leather goods. And I guess over time they've had problems where it like starts to disintegrate basically. And so people were kind of nervous about that with this. This is, as far as I know, this is one of the first times that Mafex has kind of dealt with, a leather kind of goods. So I can't wait to get this in hand and just kind of see how that moves and holds up, but it looks fantastic. So, Mark?
No, it does look fantastic. Unfortunately, I only own one Mafex figure, and that's the Batman Hush.
Good one.
Yeah, I thought it was.
The black one or the blue one?
The blue one.
Gotcha.
The blue one, yeah. I don't, like I said, that's the only one I have. So, but it does look good. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, they're not cheap, but
No.
For my money, like I think they're the best toys going. Like I think they're just like
they're
articulation wise, just the quality, the sculpts, the paint jobs. They just do a fantastic job. So, and I will say, Jesse, it was hard for me to not just pick several pictures with Superboy in it this week. So I worked hard to try to find the best one. So
I mean, you picked two great ones. Yeah.
All right, this one's yours.
All right, I'm gonna wait for it to pull up on my big screen so I can read the name. Come on, it's not that far behind, is it? So this is Toy Mercs and 4 others. This just cracked me up. I was scrolling through and it just made me laugh when I saw Deadpool and Cable riding on a big T-Rex. I was like, I've got to pick that. It's just fun. It looks like they're in Hawaii somewhere, based on the location tag in the background. I mean, I know they filmed parts of Jurassic Park in Hawaii, so this is perfect. Yeah, just a lot of fun, really cool, and yeah, that's it. It just made me smile.
I've seen some people mixing these lines recently and doing like some Savage Land type stuff, which has been interesting. I saw one. I meant to capture it, and I went back and looked through my photos, and I didn't see it, and I couldn't remember who did it. But somebody did one with Professor X and like a raptor, like in like an outdoor setting, and it just looked very much like from one of the comics. So you know, I've seen a little bit more of this lately, and yeah, I mean, anytime you can get an outdoor shot, we always love that. And you know, this is just a fun picture. It's just like somebody having fun with their toys. It's awesome. So,
yep.
Mark.
Yeah, that's a very fun picture there. I'm a sucker for anything Deadpool, except the amazing Yamaguchi version. That I've got that. It's horrible.
Gotcha. Well, there you go. Do not recommend.
No.
This is steam powered mum, which I believe is Corey. If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I saw this one pop up, and man, I think he just did a great job on this. Specifically looking at that eye, like there's the eye's perfectly done. Like there's, it's great shape on it, on the pupil and everything. There's also like towards the corner, it looks like he's got like a little kind of bloodshot almost on the side of the eye, and the fur looks great. But, this just came out really well. So doing some good stuff.
Yeah, when you sent the pictures, the eye is the first thing that caught my attention. Like it's nice and crisp, and like the white's got detail to it, so it doesn't feel like flat. And the way it's like positioned, like the pupil's positioned up under the ridge of the brow and everything, and just all the colors and details. This is a fantastic job.
Yeah,
Mark?
That's amazing. I really like the color of the nose. It to me, that pops, and the contrast with the teeth. But again, you said the eye too. It's an amazing piece for sure.
Yeah, he did a great job. I know he does a lot with what are the speed painting, the speed paints, where so it's very thin. So you get a lot of that kind of depth of color, especially like in the recesses and stuff. Yeah, I mean, he just did a great job here. So next, Jesse.
Nice.
This is what is this? Is it Action Figure Showroom?
That's what it says. Yep, Action Figure dot showroom.
Showroom, which is that Mark Calvo? I'm drawing a blank. So many people have different names every place. I can't remember everybody.
I don't know.
I know you usually really like the gray dwarves and those sorts of things, but I saw this and just like the fades on the color for the beard and the textures on the armor and everything. It looks like a non-translucent version of the Fiery Knight in dwarf form from the Baethier Dragons set, and I just absolutely was blown away by the colors on this. It is Mark.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, it is Mark. Mark Calvo. Yep.
So yeah, I just thought this was really cool. I really love these colors just as they are, but the way he blended them to make this kind of fire dwarf character just blew me away.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few like fire dwarves. I know Guion has done a couple. And obviously this one looks fantastic. I love the transition of colors. I love the fact that he went all the way down to like creating a base like you would for like a D&D character. It with that kind of cracked floor and all that. Like this came out really well. He's doing a killer job. So, Mark,
I have seen this on Facebook in the Cabal many times. I think I saw where he was as he was doing it, he just kept posting pictures of it, and each iteration of it, it was just blowing me away. This is a really skilled artist. The final product, I just how he's blended everything in, and
Mhm.
just the way the colors work. It's amazing. It absolutely truly is.
Yeah, doing a great job. Next, this is one of my picks, and I tell you what, I've had a few people reach out to me because I'm doing that how they do that segment on my other channel, and I get quite a few folks that reach out to me and say, hey, I think you should feature this artist or feature that artist, which is great. Keep those coming, folks, because I mean, I'm doing a new artist every week, and I want to make sure that I'm bringing content that you guys are caring about. And this guy's name has come up a bunch of times. Unfortunately, he doesn't really do YouTube. He doesn't do interviews. But I've reached out to him several times because like his stuff is so freaking good. This is Skella_Soria. And his stuff is just fantastic, man. It's I can't say enough about it. And like looking at this, obviously he did like went the extra mile with the saliva and stuff in the mouth, but just the detail that you get like on the gums, on the teeth, on the fur, into like the, how perfect the eyes are. This is a guy that I don't care how many humans you put up against this guy, 100, 200, whatever, this thing's winning. So just throwing that out there. So
Looks like he's getting ready to give you a kiss.
yeah, he's this guy's scary. So, but yes, Skella_Soria is doing an amazing job.
I think kisses are very different from my experience, Mark.
Oh, I didn't know this, but apparently Blake said that's a commission piece that he had done from Skella_Soria. So that's awesome. Beautiful.
I don't know what I can add on to what you said, Curtis. The detail, like the saliva and like the texture in the mouth and and all those details, and again the eyes. The eyes between this and what we saw from Corey's are just phenomenal. Are they using those little pens, or are those fully painted?
Man, it looks fully painted, but I'm not sure. So
either way, it's a lot of skill. Either way, I'm not trying to diminish. I'm just curious because it's amazing.
That is better than studio quality. I mean, I don't think a factory could produce something as good as that.
It's really nicely done. So, and I love anytime that somebody does kind of like animalistic ones, the anthropomorphic kind of characters. I love when they have like this variation in color, right? Because like you sit here and look at it, and there's not a defined spot that says, this part of the hair is going to be black and this part's going to be brown. You very much can like choose where you're going to do that stuff, what colors you're going to use, how you're going to do it. I know a lot of different artists will look at like reference pictures of animals and just see what natural colors that you see like in nature on animals, and then come up with something. And this is fantastic. He did a great job. So
the saliva in the teeth there, that's just what throws it over the top. But again, too, those eyes are just haunting.
Yep. All right, next one from Jesse.
This is geek.turtle on Instagram. I feel like this was sent to me by someone, and I can't remember who. So
that's
I apologize.
Dean Wright, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
Geek.turtle is Dean Wright. Yeah.
Yes. I love this. It's just it's like what is that movie? Was it The Seventh Sign, where he plays death in a game of chess.
I've not seen that,
but
that sounds awesome.
The lighting on this coming through that stained glass window and the chess table and just the way they're positioned, and like the style, like the different textures on their each different chairs, and how the knight's got his helmet like tucked under the edge. Just everything about this is just amazing and beautiful, and I absolutely love this. It looks like a scene from a movie and not a picture of two toys playing chess.
Yeah, I don't know where he got like that little mini like chessboard and the stained glass window with the dio and all that, but this came out perfect. I love the way that this looks. I think the only thing that I would have liked a little bit better is if, you know, like the light kind of stopped short of getting to like the evil side, you know, like if it kind of like blocked a little bit or something, to where it was like going halfway across the board or something like that. But this is awesome. I love his Instagram is a great one too for anybody that's not following, because a lot of times he does these like massive setups, right? Where he does like he'll go outside or something. He does these massive setups, and then he'll get several different photos from different angles and different pieces of the setup. So it's like a bunch of different photo shoots all in one. So his Instagram is awesome. But yeah, I love the story that this picture's telling. It's awesome.
To me, it almost looks like it is a forced perspective shot, where that the background is real stained glass, and that chessboard might be real. It just might be done with a forced perspective shot. It looks amazing, though.
Okay.
Kevin says, "Damn, I suck at chess. I'd totally die." Now, hungry hippos. Right now, I'm really enjoying Guess Who. When we were out in California, there was a lot of time we had to kill because we were like available. Like our daughter was getting married, and we didn't know, she had a busy schedule. We didn't know what time she was going to have for us. So we were just sitting in the room, and I introduced Darla to Guess Who, which she proceeded to like kick my ass at.
Like the little flip down tiles of the faces.
Yeah, but they've got a new one now. So it's called Guess Who 2.0. So instead of having the individual tiles, they have one card that you can slide in, and it's got all the people and stuff on it. And the cool thing about that is there's people on Etsy that are creating cards specially for the Guess Who with like Disney characters or Marvel characters or whatever. So now you can, so it's really fun. So I've been doing that quite a bit. But if I was going against Darla, like if Darla was the Grim Reaper, I would be in trouble because she kicked my ass. So all right. Next one, this is one of mine. We actually talked about this last week. This I saw at the California Mythic Meetup. This is Dan Connor from Rosedale Studios. Blake did a nice little video of him kind of talking through his creation here and how he came about doing that and the story behind it, which is really interesting. If you go check out Recon Rage on Instagram, you can see him, kind of talk through this. But basically this is, kind of he took that the line from Chop Suey, the why have you forsaken me kind of thing, and in his mind he's like, what if instead of Jesus it was Lucifer, and like how he would have reacted to feeling like he's been forsaken. And so in this custom, you've got these like bloody angel wings down at the bottom there where he's like shed the angel wings, and then the demon wings have grown in from there, but he still has that like very angelic armor. And it's just a really cool custom. And I know he said that he had stepped away from kind of doing customs for a while, and this is his first one coming back, and man, he's coming back with a banger, because this thing was absolutely stunning. So I wanted to pull this up and show it.
Yeah, this should be the last one unless you added something in, but yeah, because I knew we talked about it a little bit last week. You haven't seen it, and I saw that clip. Getting to see this is really cool. I didn't know the connection to that song, or I'd forgotten you'd mentioned it last time, but the story, it paints such a good story just looking at it, even without knowing that, and that knowing the song reference and everything just enhances it so much more. But yeah, this is really cool. And it looks like he's pulled off the horns and put different set of horns on there for Belphegor's head.
Yeah, he's got different horns on it. I just love that imagery of the, shedding the angel wings and growing the demon wings. Like it's just so awesomely done. So,
well, and the horns, the way they're positioned, almost looks like an anti-halo.
Yeah. Mark, thoughts on this one?
It's a really good piece. I like seeing stuff like this when people get a different perspective and go a total different route from what you're accustomed to.
Mhm.
What you said, ripping those angel wings off and then sprouting those demon wings because he's been forsaken. I mean, it just looks like Belphegor had a temper tantrum.
Well, and the fact that he's using a Sir Ignatius, which is not a cheap figure. Now it's going to be coming out on All Star soon, and that'll be a little bit easier to come by. But for right now, that's a pretty expensive figure. And he talked about when Blake and I were chatting with him that he, like I said, he hadn't been doing any customs and stuff, and he had a lot of figures that were just sitting like in boxes that he hadn't opened yet. And so he basically just opened this and made a custom out of it, which is, it's one thing to make a custom when you've got a figure that's a $25 figure, $50 figure, but when you've got a very expensive figure and you'd break it apart to make a custom, kudos on that. So
is that his
right.
tail across his waist?
What's that?
Yep.
Is that his tail across his waist?
Yeah.
I just noticed that. That's a nice touch.
Yep. That was it for shelf selections. I did add one thing in here that I wanted to talk about. That is the D13 fundraiser. So for any of you that know Chris from Four Horsemen Studios, he also did his own line for Biblical Adventures. And recently, when he had that stuff shipped over, he got hit with a $25,000 kind of hit for the tariffs. And he really just kind of ate that on his own, which, really stinks for somebody that's trying to do their own toy line. And obviously he would like to do more stuff. So Purple Gang, a few other folks have gotten involved in trying to raise money for Chris, try to offset some of that cost. So right now they've got this head that is of Chris's head, which is a really nice print, by the way. You got the glasses, the hat, and all that kind of stuff. And they're selling it over there on Dirk's Designs and Customs.com. All the proceeds go to Chris. I think they've got some folks in the community that are painting some of these up, some well-known artists. And that money will be going to Chris as well. So if you care about Chris, care about Four Horsemen, or you just want to take a Chris head and put it in weird spots, go ahead and go over to Dirk's Design and Customs and pick yourself up one, and you can do whatever weird things you want to do with Chris's head. So and that is all I had, Jesse.
Okay. I don't think I can add anything onto that. I'm just going to let that stand. Other than, yes, I need to get one of these. It's cool. And yeah.
I do want to mention, because we've only got 15 minutes left, there is a post in the Cabal for the IshCon pop and swap thing to vote on it. So all of those entries are on there. If you go to the Cabal right now, you type in Ish's name. It should be the first post that pops up there. But I believe there's only like 17 minutes left to vote. If you haven't cast your vote, normally I wouldn't tell you to go do something while we're in the middle of the show, but maybe go cast your vote and come on back. So, all right.
Yesterday and the day before.
Yeah. Some great entries out there for sure.
Yes.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right. So the question I asked before we got into the shelf selections, Mark, if you want to go ahead and, I'm just kidding. I don't expect you to remember what I said. So we got to meet a couple weeks ago at the show and got to talking about some stuff about different toys. And I know you're newish to the Mythic Legion, but what were kind of your big draws, your big hobbies before you discovered or decided to take the dive into those?
Well, G.I. Joe. I collected G.I. Joe back in the 80s when I was a kid. I played with those extensively. I played with He-Man. My neighbors had that and whatnot. It really wasn't in the uneven proportions. It was, G.I. Joe primarily that drew me in. When I got into high school, I stopped really collecting. It wasn't until, a few years later when I had my kids getting back into the joy of toys, playing with their toys. I would collect stuff here and there, but really for me, it wasn't until right around COVID when Hasbro introduced G.I. Joe Classified. And I just pointed up there because I've got them all above me. That's what drew me back into toy collecting. It was a nostalgia thing, but they looked really good. The updated 6-inch modern figures. That's what drew me back into collecting. For sure.
Okay. Did you other than the Joes? Was there anything else? I know we've talked, and you said you've gotten into some of the Action Force stuff as well.
Yes, back in February, I took the dive into Action Force when they were doing their blind boxes. They had two different ones, Mystery Box A and a Mystery Box B. I did the math, and Mystery Box B was the better value. And once I got that, I just went right down that rabbit hole. I mean, as you can see, I've got pretty much everything they've made in Action Force.
Nice.
And
So that's what all that is behind you there.
Bobby Vala is a very down to earth, cool dude.
Awesome.
For sure. MJ pulls up, has a question here. He asked if you got the Heavy Gunner and the ATL 25, and then wants to know, as a Joe collector, what you think of those two figures.
The Heavy Gunner. Well, I just recently purchased the ATL 25. I'm just waiting to get the ship notification. The Heavy Gunner. The Heavy Gunner is okay. I haven't gotten it yet. It's still on pre-order, and I think we're talking about the one that's on pre-order, if I'm not mistaken. The one that comes with the backpack with the guns and the rockets. Heavy duty, I believe. Haven't gotten them yet.
That should be. They did.
I think he's talking about the green and orange Cosmic Legion Heavy Gunner.
Oh, see, I'm not in the Cosmics yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
My mistake.
No, you're good. What?
Yeah.
So with the ATL 25, like, obviously you don't have it in hand yet, but what were your thoughts when you first saw it?
My thoughts when I first saw that, I actually saw coming right out of Toylanta a video from Beast Battlegrounds, and he was showcasing the figure, and the first thing that screamed at me was that camouflage paint job on the legs. That hit me a certain way, being a military guy, and that was some of the most realistic camouflage on a 7-inch figure that I've seen. And just that grizzled look about this guy. And if anything was going to push me to start collecting cosmics, it would be that guy.
Gotcha.
It's just it scratches a military itch. I'm a sucker for modern military.
So that's the Heavy Gunner one that he's referring to. So
yeah, okay, I've seen that in passing. I do.
Yeah, it definitely has more of a cosmic vibe to it, for sure.
Yeah, a science fiction vibe, and
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I do dig the science fiction stuff. I just don't have any cosmics to actually, put in my hand to mess around with. This, ATL 25 will be my very first one.
Gotcha.
That's kind of like how I was with Mythics. I'm sorry, I may be getting ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
So I went to my first toy convention, which was ZoloCon. Bobby Vala had announced that they were going to have an exclusive, the ZoloCon Steel Brigade. So I made it a point. I looked to see where it was. I live here on the east coast of Jersey, and King of Prussia wasn't far, about an hour and a half. So I talked it over with my wife, and she was okay. We decided to go. And I have a buddy that lives in Florida. His name is Adam, and I believe he's here now, actually. He was messaging me back and forth. I told him I was going to ZoloCon, and he's like, hey, can you stop at these booths, Four Horsemen and Harbinger Studios? There was a couple of figures he wanted. I'm like, sure, no problem. While I'm waiting in line, he's messaging me, and he shows me this picture of this figure, this barbarian. I had no clue what it was. And he's like, oh, dude, they just dropped this. He's like, can you go pick this up? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I go to Action Force. I get everything there first, and then I go over to the Mythic Legions booth. Now, this is the funny part. So Jesse, that is the first time we actually met. I went to the wrong booth because I had no clue what I was doing. And I walked up to you, and you were sitting at the register, and I was like, I pulled my phone out. I'm like, hey, you guys got this figure? Because I saw the heads and everything on the on the posts. I was in the custom booth, and you're like, yeah, no, you want that booth right over there. I was like, okay, thanks. And it didn't click until after the ToyCon New Jersey show, after I had met you and talked to you.
Okay.
It clicked. So I go over to the Four Horsemen booth, and I've got tunnel vision, and I had to have walked past Payet there, totally oblivious. And I walk up, and he's like, "Yeah, hey, can I help you?" I pull my phone out, and I'm like, "Do you have this?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're right here." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll take it, buy it, throw it in the bag." Wasn't until I got home I start separating everything, and I'm gonna have to put it in the box to ship it to him. And I'm have it in my hand, and I'm actually looking at it, and I'm like, "What is this? This thing is cool." And it's like I wanted to open it, but it wasn't mine. And I'm like, "Man, I gotta get one of these." And it was like right then I instantly regret not buying one, even though I didn't know what it was. And then like the FOMO started kicking in. I'm like, I gotta get this. How am I gonna get this? And so I started like researching Four Horsemen, and he was always telling me, hey, check this line out, Mythic Legions. It's really good. And he was giving me the websites and whatnot, Source Horseman, Store Horseman. And then I looked to see their convention schedule and saw the next time I would possibly be able to get one would be at ToyCon New Jersey. Not only did I get one, but I got three.
Nice.
I got a couple for Adam and his friend, and I got one for me for sure.
Awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, you would be surprised how many stories that people have that they started out the exact same way. Like I know, Schmerber, who's now like got his own show and all this kind of stuff, and he's well known in the community. He first showed up at MesquiCon a couple years ago, and he wasn't in the line, and he came over to the Wolf King table and was asked. He's like, what, like you go into MesquiCon, and it's weird because it's a very kind of just like local con. Like there's not a whole lot of traffic. There's not a whole lot of people. There's the space between the aisles is really huge. But then you get to the back of the convention and you see like this huge line out the door for Mythic Legion. So it's like, everybody else, there's like maybe one or two people at each table. And then you get to the Mythic Legion one, it's out the door. So, if you don't know what's going on, like you come up and you're like, what's the deal? Like, what's the excitement here? Like, and so he came up to our table and he's like, hey, what is going on? What is this? And, you kind of have to do that education piece where it's like, well, there's this is the Four Horsemen, and they do these lines. They got Cosmic Legion and Mythic Legion, and basically you buy the figures from them, and then if you want to create your own figures, then you can come over here, and we've got parts and some people that have painted stuff and all this kind of thing. And I think Jesse can probably talk to this more than I do, because I know he does a lot of shows with Wolf King, but you very much have certain conventions that it's most of your fans, like your people that already are into this, they're buying this stuff, and they're just coming in and stocking up on parts or getting some painted stuff. And then there's these other shows that are more educational, where you're going to it, and it's kind of a convention for a bunch of other stuff that you just also happen to be at. And so they'll come up to you and they're like, hey, kind of what's this all about? What's the deal? And you have to kind of teach people on, like, hey, yeah, go there first and find what you like, and then come on over. And if you want to get into the customizing, we can help you out. And but yeah, there's a lot of stories that start just like yours. But yeah, Jesse, I don't know if you want to kind of touch on kind of the differences when you guys are at those cons on like the feel of what you guys have to do.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Mark's been to both of the shows I'm going to reference, so he can attest to this. The ZoloCon, the Horseman, big thing. I mean, and there's a lot more independent vendors there the last couple years than there had been previous years, at least from my experience. But like that one's mostly people coming to the Wolf King booth know what they're coming to look for, but there's a handful of people that aren't sure, or like, hey, how does this work? Like, oh, do you sell the whole figures? And you do the whole spiel. And then there's places like the Lehigh Valley show last weekend, where there's a dedicated group of people that come that know what they're looking for, but then there's everybody else that just kind of wander into the room because I think the one wrestler guy was in the room. And
Billy Gunn.
Pump.
No,
Oh,
he was supposed to be Billy Gunn, but he didn't make it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
So Scott Steiner was there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And you know, there's a lot more educating and explaining, and you know, for people who are just looking for older stuff that, you know, don't know about like the pop and swap. And fortunately at Lehigh, we had the Brett Stoddard's like 16 feet of you know,
fodder.
Lucky Charms of fodder bins, where like I saw Len multiple times like explaining to people how it worked, and they're like, well, here, let's just go over here. And he walks them through Brett's table, and then the people didn't come back to the Wolf King table and buy parts. They just bought stuff from Brett.
Brett killed it that day.
What was he? What he was just selling like individual like arms and legs and hands and,
you know, those
like,
like the little tackle boxes that people bring to the part swaps. He just had two 6 or 2 8-foot tables with those full of bins, because he does mostly skeletons, so almost everything that's not a skeleton part or that he couldn't use to make skeletons, he had. I think Dylan put together 1 or 2 of like the Night Builders, like the first 1.0 Night Builder sets, and all these things. And Brett's only been collecting for a little over 2 years, so he, you know, he's gotten tons of stuff, and he's like, I'm gonna have to take a break and wait another year or so before I can build my fodder back up to do this again. What kind of people were like, are you gonna do this at every show?
What kind of pricing was he having?
His pricing was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Like, because I've thought I've got like 18 bins full of that stuff, and I thought about doing it, but I have no idea what you would charge for parts and stuff. Was he doing like bundle deals, or it was just like everything was individually priced? Or
I think
real quick, Mark, if I can interject real quick, because it'll be short. I heard most of the time I heard Brett saying, make me an offer based on what people had in their hands. I did. The only thing I got from him was one of the wolves, the D20 wolves, and a troll, which he had set prices on. So, which were stupid good prices.
I picked up 2 complete figures from him. I picked up that little blue demon guy.
How far?
Yeah, for my buddy Adam in Florida. He'd been looking for that for a while. It's $20.
Oh wow!
The female red demon chick with
Zarya.
Yep. Yeah, her. $20. And then I built 2 figures. I built a skeleton Legion builder, and I built another figure. Just picking through the parts and looking at Source Horseman. I'm like, how much for these? He's like, $20. So everything was $20. I made out pretty good. I got like 4 figures, so added to my collection. And then I think I bought the Legion Con exclusive from you guys, Wolf King, the Furious 4.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a real good one.
Kevin, if he wasn't calling it Stoddard's fodder, there's a problem. Like, he definitely should have called it that. So,
nope, this was the name we came up with for him. This is what he wanted.
No, Stoddard's fodder is definitely better. But yeah, any of those, I love those Legions concepts, man. I tell Jeremy all the time, but like, to me, the whole beauty of this line is the interchangeability. It's the modularity of the figures, and he does a really good job with those Legion Con, especially the exclusive sets. Like, you can buy the other, you know, the standard versions later on, but the exclusive sets, when it's a 2-pack, they've got so many parts in it that you open it up and you're like, oh, it's got extra arms, it's got extra feet, well, that means I can switch those out, right? Like, if you just buy a standard figure that only has 1 set of arms, 1 set of legs, you know, maybe it's got an extra head or something, you don't get that same like instinctual like popping and swapping nature of it, right? Because you only have so many parts. But on those Legions Cons one, he just does such a good job of throwing so many extras in there that it makes you want to play around with it and create your own thing. And then you go, okay, well, I did this, but and maybe I like this build, but now it's got the same head as the standard one. Maybe I want to go get an unpainted head and paint one up, or maybe I want to go get a head that somebody else has painted and pop it on there. And yeah, it just really opens it up. So
I just got one of my all-time favorite Legion's Con exclusive. I got it from Trevor Williams, the unknown one, and I got it down there on the shelf. Amazing figure, amazing. And I popped the black head off the Gorgo helmet, and I put that red skeleton head on it. Wow, I'm just like amazed by that. The texture on the wings, the blood veins. It's cool. It's cool.
That one, I have that positioned way too high to appreciate it up close on the regular, so I need to get it down and take a better look at it, because I got home from the convention that year, put it up on my top shelf because it's supposed to be flying over the battlefields or whatever, and he's like almost touching the ceiling.
I created one of my favorite pop and swaps with that. With I love the Gorthok, the Shadow Orcs.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And his like spots, like the skin spots that he has, the color works so well with like the veins and stuff in the wing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite pop and swaps I've ever done, and this sits right behind me while I'm doing the shows and stuff. But it's a great figure.
Yeah, it is such an awesome figure, and I thank God I asked Trevor, because I had messaged him about a different figure, and I just asked him, like, hey, by any chance, do you have the unknown one? And he's like, yeah, I got that. I was like, oh, I need it.
So Curtis, since you like the veins and everything, do you eat your Snickers bars upside down?
You talking to me?
I said Curtis.
What about Snickers bars?
So you like the veins on the wings, and I know you like rubbing stuff on your lips. Do you eat your Snickers bars upside down?
No. No, I usually do freeze them though. I don't know if that matters, but I don't like Snickers regular. They have to be frozen.
Milky Way or Three Musketeers?
Not a big Milky Way guy. Three Musketeers I can have every now and then. So
okay.
And Trevor may not want me to share this, but he really is a nice guy. So sometimes he tries to act like he's not a nice guy, but he's a nice guy. So just figured I'd share that. I know he's trying to keep a certain reputation of being a little standoffish and kind of sarcasm and all that. But
who are you talking about?
Trevor Williams, 1.6 shooter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He kisses me every year at Legion's Con. I don't know if you knew this.
Oh boy.
It's a good question. It's a good question. I don't know. My mom eats ice cream with the spoon upside down. I think that's a little strange, but happy Mother's Day, Mom. You can eat your ice cream any way you want. But yeah.
Speaking of painting and customizing, Mark.
Yes.
I know you and your wife were at the Lehigh show last week, and you picked up some stuff. You got one of the blind bags, right?
Two of them.
That's right.
The $10 and the $20 one.
And your wife's the more of the customizer of the two of you, right?
She's the painter. Yes.
Okay. Has she gotten to play around with any of that yet? Or
she was asking questions. Like, I had already started watching videos from Jeremy, his customs videos and paints that he recommended and stuff of that nature. So I was telling her what he was using. I was like, if you want to use something like that, go to Michael's or order them off Amazon, or you can watch some other videos and find out what other people do. So when she has the time, she's going to dabble in that. She's already got a couple of pieces picked out. We've got some really good pieces in there, actually. A lot of good skeleton heads, armored skeleton heads. So she's going to start dabbling in that. I may actually start dabbling in it as well. I used to paint military models. Those kind of paints won't work with these. and certainly not my airbrush. Totally different techniques from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a good thing you're talking about airbrush now rather than like a year ago, because Curtis would have like shut the stream off a year ago, or was it more than a year ago now?
it's probably more than a year ago, but yeah, I did think it was the devil, but it's not the devil. Yeah,
Well,
you
for
don't.
certain things, it's good.
Yeah, you don't have to worship the devil to use an airbrush. You can, but you don't have to. So,
well, when you're painting military models like tanks, stuff of that nature, an airbrush is your best friend.
Yeah. I mean, it's really great for certain things. It's not a answer for everything, but it's just like anything else. It's a tool in the toolbox that if you get really good at, it can help you do a lot of things better. So,
just like ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, Kevin was asking if you've had her join the Legion's Ladies. So, because they do a live show on every other Thursday, and they've got a group on Facebook, and they even do the Mod Squad on Saturdays where they paint live. So,
yeah, I told her about the Legion's Ladies and the Mod Squad. She didn't. She was busy, but she said she would check it out.
Nice. Yeah, Jesse, this week Stacy was painting one of the vampire heads that we did, the female vampire.
Oh yeah.
So that was back when I used to contribute to Wolf King, and before you kind of just took that over by yourself. So
I've not done any shooting the sculpts since.
No, you're doing stuff with Patrick and with other people, and
that was your idea. That was you made that happen. The other one was an accident. I was not expecting it to become a thing.
Awesome. I want to go customize.
Twizzler saying he's been watching Legion's Ladies, Jeremy's older videos, and art by Akerman to get paint ideas. All have been a great help.
I agree.
And we know Mark has already watched art by Akerman. So he's like we talked about that in line.
That Akerman dude, he's a hack. So
yeah, he does get him on the show sometime.
He does have one or two good videos.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen Mr. Baseball? You ever seen that movie with Tom Selleck?
I know of it, but I've never seen it.
It's really it's a cheesy kind of campy kind of flick, and basically he's this aging ball player. His career is pretty much at an end, and he goes over to Japan to play baseball because none of the like major league teams will sign him, like because he's just too old and not very good anymore. And he's kind of going back to Japan to like get his groove back and hopefully make his way back into the major leagues. And over there, like he's still amazing because they're just not. It's not the same caliber as far as baseball goes. But he goes through this slump and he's like really having a rough time, and his coach is trying to get him to improve and get better. And so he has him like he's tossing golf balls up and having him hit golf balls with his baseball bat. And he's doing this like for a while, and he just gets so irritated. He's like, I want to hit baseballs. And he's like, what's that? He's like, I want to hit baseballs. And he's like, exactly like that. Like, that's what he was trying to get him to, was that place where it's like, I want to do this. Like, this is something that, and that's kind of where I've been with my painting. Like I'm just now getting to the point, like I've been traveling a lot and had to go to California for the wedding and a lot of things for work and stuff. And I'm at the point now where I'm like, man, I really want to paint. Like I want to go cut something up. I want to Dremel. I want to, we're talking through this and I'm like, man, I want to pull out my airbrush. So this is actually helping me quite a bit because I want to hit baseballs. So yeah.
Excellent.
And that was my long Mr. Baseball story. So. No, Trevor, I did not take over Jesse's show. Yeah.
Read the next comment, Curtis.
Yeah, that must be somebody else. We're
exactly.
partners.
Yes. Fight with Trevor and allegedly Tanya Think.
Gotcha.
Oh, I just had it cutting something up. What was I going to say? I don't know what I was going to say.
It's on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dremeling, slicing, Zactoing, razor blade.
Oh, I watched Monster Hunter today, and there was a lot of monsters getting cut up in that.
Oh, okay.
The Mia Jovovich movie.
Is that streaming somewhere?
Yeah, I think I watched it on Hulu. It's not great, but it's got some really cool like monsters, and I mean it's got some fun moments, but it's like for a 90-minute movie, it was enjoyable. If it would have been much longer, I think I might have taken a nap.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah, you said cutting up, and there's just a scene where someone cuts through this like wing of something or flap of some, I don't know, and it just made me think of. Yeah, sorry.
And then you could if there was a Mythic Legion, you could then put it back together with a bunch of different parts and make it into something new.
Yeah, I was trying to get there. Thank you. Yes.
Awesome.
Cut it up and put it back together again.
So I know, Mark, you said you got ATL on the way. Did you get anything else from the in-stock sale recently?
I did. I got a bunch of figures that I don't currently have. The Xylonian Trooper. I think I got 2 of those. One to keep whole, and then one to try and customize, popping and swapping, because I heard that was a really good one to pop and swap with. Let's see what else. I missed out on the blind box for the parts for the armor experience. It was my own fault. You know, I heard what they had said about limited quantities. Make sure you're there. Dilly dally, get in the cart, go check out. Well, I grabbed the Headhunter, and then I went to grab that. And by the time I went through the checkout, it said, "Oops, something's not available anymore." And it was that. And I was like, "What are you gonna do?" So I went back and continued shopping. I got another Debon. I got this horse Boreas.
Did you go back the next day and get the other mystery now that they've done that?
Yes, I did. Yes, nice. I did. I saw that like 40 minutes later, I didn't get the message, the alert on my phone that they put another run of those mystery boxes up. I missed out on that. But my buddy Adam, he sent me the notification. He's like, "Hey, check this out," because he was lucky enough to get one. And I was happy for him, real happy for him. But yeah, I saw that 11 o'clock they were going live with 3 already pre-built figures plus the barbarian parts. I was like, you know what? It's 3 figures. Yeah, I'm doing it. And I went on and got it.
Very cool. Yeah, there's and I mean now they're fully carded figures, so they're like, you know that the armor's all going to match. It's not going to be mix and match. It's just an amazing deal. Like I would like to, first off, there were some people that were upset about it, which whatever, people are going to get upset. I think it's a silly thing to get upset about because it's the extra parts that they had from the event. Like it wasn't like they made a run of this just to sell. Right. So I think it's kind of a silly thing to get upset about, but the fact that, then as a company, they pivot with that and they go, "Hey, you know what? We've got these other armory knights that have been sitting in the in-stock for a while. Let's just partner those up. We're going to give the exact same deal as what you had with the other, but now they're fully realized figures. And we'll give you the exact same deal and put those on the site." I think it was a really smart idea on their part. And I think it's a great value. Like, to get 3 fully realized characters with those armory, with the extra paint hits that they have on them and everything, and you get the barbarian parts.
Yes.
Dare I say, I think it might be the best value deal that they've ever had. So there's 77 left right now in the store. If anybody hasn't gone out and got any of those, man, I once these are gone, like I don't know that you're ever going to see a value like this again. So
It's a really good value. You're basically getting a figure for free, because if
Yeah.
you do the math at $45 a pop,
Mhm.
it's 2 Armory Nights, and it was $10 for the Barbarian parts. That's
Yep.
that's your $100 right
Well,
there.
and we've talked about it before. Like those Armory Nights, they're the perfect figure for getting a painted head from somebody at Legion's Con or any of these other toy shows, right? Like you get these heads, and I don't know about you, Mark. I mean, I've been doing this now for several years, and I'll buy some heads from Legion's Con because somebody has done a really amazing paint job, or I want to support, you know, a certain friend or artist, and then I get these heads, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do with it now? Like, where am I going to put this?
Yeah,
And
those
these
are
Armory
perfect.
Nights are perfect for it. Like you
Yeah.
just pop off that head, put on whatever painted head you got, and it's great. So
Where is he? I think it was the Green Evil Armory Night. I
Mhm.
picked up from ToyCon, and I picked up the Barbarian parts, and I did the popping and swapping. He's up there behind my Legendary Barbarian,
Mhm.
using the Legendary Barbarian bearded head. Just, you know, awesome figure. Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've got several that I had picked up some heads from. We showed them earlier in the shelf selections. Bear Blaze on Instagram, Blaze Bear on Facebook. I'm not sure why it's reversed, but he does amazing work. Picked up some heads from him from Legion's Con, and they went great with the Armory Knights. So yeah, super great. But yeah, folks, like I said, there's still 77 of them out there. If you haven't picked one up yet, I'd go get it.
Highly recommended. They're good.
Yep.
They're good. See, my problem is I'm so new with Mythic right now. I
Mhm.
just have like one of everything except the Armory Knights.
Mhm.
So I don't have a lot to choose from when it comes to popping and swapping.
Yeah.
And it was the Undead pack that actually forced me to learn how to pop and swap, because that Undead pack, you know, you can make the zombie or the ghost.
Mhm.
That's my first foray with a blow dryer to try and heat these figures up and pop them apart.
Yep.
I'm not ashamed of it, but I had to watch videos because I didn't know what I was doing, because I'd never
Yeah.
blown a figure apart before. It's like blasphemy, you know. You
Mhm.
feel like you're gonna break. The most I ever had to do was the Action Force, throw it in hot water just to
Yeah.
loosen the joints. But yeah, it's blasphemy to blow a figure apart. But once I did it for the first time, I'm like, all right, what else can I blow apart? What
Yeah.
else can I do? Like what can I do with this guy? You know, my little desk diver here. I play with him
Mhm.
all the time, and it's like I'm already like envisioning taking like the Dark Templar, blowing
Mhm.
him apart using scaphoid parts, putting the arms and legs on with the head, and then a purple cloak, and turn him into a scaphoid wizard, Dark Templar wizard. You know, like just stuff like that going through my head, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have any of that stuff. I've only got one scaphoid, and I'm not destroying him to do that. So
Well,
I mean,
you'll have access to a couple scaphoid parts in the Legion's Con set.
yes, yes,
At least the ones they've showed us so far.
it's
I'm
it's
looking
also
forward
a
to that.
really easy color match to do. I did a how'd they do that with Patrick Boyle, and I know he's put some stuff on Facebook, and it's
Yes.
really just two colors. Like you hit it with, I believe it's moot green, and then there's I believe it's a folk art or deco art one called like daffodil yellow or something that you dry brush over it. So you hit it with green, dry brush the yellow, it's done. Like that's it. It's two colors. So you know, it's a really cool, like I think the story behind Scaphoid is really cool. And so, you know, and with all these other ones that we've gotten from Graveyard and everything else, Necronominus, if you wanted to change something into that Scaphoid color and you haven't customized, it's probably one of the easiest like customizing that you can do. So
I'll have to look into that.
yeah.
Yeah, but no, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
But like I was saying before, I have all these ideas of stuff. You know, I just look at these figures and I started getting inspired. Like, you know, this guy would look good combined with this guy, and it's just like I want to do it, but like they're the only ones I got.
Mhm.
You know, I came in late into the game, but it was a good time to come in, and I'm glad for it because I got right in before the Panther campaign started. So
That's
I
cool.
was
And that's
fortunate
a great
enough.
time to come in because the new articulation and the new builds with the Necronominous figures are starting to come. Like that wave is finally in because a couple of the Armory Knights and the Valiant Knight were the only things that had the new Knight parts. So like it's a perfect time for all like the new improvements that they've have been in the works that we've been waiting for the last 2 years. So great time to come in. And I know Curtis likes to say don't look back, like just look forward. I mean, if there's characters you want, go ahead and get it, but you don't have to.
Just know
I was gonna say, unless you want to.
that. I say that as a hypocrite because I've definitely gone back and gotten some expensive ones. So, but try to limit it as much as possible for sure.
Yeah,
because you never know which ones are going to get like we've got the Otho version 2 coming probably sometime this year. So we'll get like better versions of older characters in the future. So
yeah, my buddy keeps telling me that too. He's like, calm down. There's going to be voting coming for the new All-Star Wave. We don't know what's going to be in it. He's like, they're always reissuing figures with updated colorways and stuff of that nature. And I'm just like, it's going in one ear and out the other because I'm just like looking and I'm like, I know I need this one. I need that one. It's just like, deep down that rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I'm sorry.
No. Oh, I was going to pull this up real quick. Brian Lynn, Carver Customs, asks, Mark, is that a hecklefish from the Y files next to you?
Yes, it is. I'm not ashamed. I watched the Y files. It's a good watch. And yes, that is hecklefish.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
You're going to have to educate me here.
So hecklefish is the little antagonistic mascot that hangs out in the fishbowl. And he's always heckling the host. So it's a funny routine. The show delves into folklore and aliens and stuff way out there. I don't know if you're familiar with Art Bell, Coast to Coast, on the radio AM. He delves into all that stuff. But what I like about him is he'll give the story, and in a very compelling way, he draws you in. And then he will, at the end of whatever he's showcasing, then he'll go over the facts, and he'll if there's anything there to debunk, he'll debunk. He's just not a believer to be a believer's sake. Great story at the beginning, and then facts at the end, and then you decide.
Interesting.
But he does stuff like the ancient pyramids, who really built them, stuff like that, aliens, ghosts,
Interesting. Jesse's deep in thought now.
No, I'm trying.
Like aliens.
My brain's derailing me. No, I watched a documentary yesterday on something called the Bray Road Beast, or the Beast of Bray Road, which is like a cryptid or an unknown entity from kind of like southeastern Wisconsin. And it was just really interesting. Like, I thought the documentary did a really interesting way of presenting, could it be, something supernatural? Could it be something else? Or is it just maybe a, different, just a different species or like mutation or something from some existing animal that's just looks different from other. I thought it was neat. It was only like an hour long. I thought it was a movie, but it was a documentary. Like, I thought it was a movie, not like, anyway. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So Mark, what do you have other shows coming up that you're going to?
This is my very first podcast type live show. So no, I do not.
I meant like other toy shows coming up.
Like,
I mean, are you coming to Legions Con? Is there any others before that you're planning on attending?
Yes, I am. As soon as I got into this and got more familiar with it,
Mm-hmm.
I started looking at the convention schedule, and
Mm-hmm.
I saw they were going to be at Toy Con. The street team was going to be at Lehigh. I did not go to Shop the Curiosity, unfortunately. 2 weekends in a row, I did stuff, going to the toy shows, and I had stuff I had to do at home.
I'm guessing you're an East Coast guy.
Yep, I live here in Jersey, so I
Okay.
live maybe 35 minutes away from Little Falls.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 40, so which was another shock because they're right in my backyard, and I had no idea they existed.
It's interesting, right?
Yes, it is. So I saw that they had Legion's Con, and after talking with people, finding out that this is like the Super Bowl for them,
Mm-hmm.
is their con. I got to meet Joe Fatiri, and he was telling me that this is a big deal, that you should go. And I'm like, I already got my tickets. I was lucky enough to get the hotel room for Saturday and Sunday, so I don't have to come back home. And I actually talked to my buddy Adam, who got me into this. He lives in Florida. He's going to fly up.
Oh, nice.
I bought 2 tickets, and I was going to try and talk him into it, but in the event that he couldn't, I was going to bring my wife or my son,
Mm-hmm.
because now my son's into mythics.
Very cool.
So, I told him I got the tickets, I got the hotel room. I was like, don't worry, there's 2 beds. We won't cross.
It would not be the first room in that hotel where some people are cuddling up in the same bed. I'm just telling you.
I don't doubt it.
There's a lot of bed sharing, a lot of people sleeping on floors. There may be some people sleeping in bathtubs just to try to save some money. So
I don't doubt it. So I was lucky enough to get the hotel room. I mean, I was right there on my phone when it went live. Like, I gotta get this, gotta get it.
Yeah.
Got it. Let him know. And a few weeks later, he's like, "Hey, guess who's coming to Jersey?" I'm like, "You?" And he's like, "Yep." So
Very cool.
We're excited about that. This is going to be his first con. Actually, I think first toy show period. And whatever little ones he's gone to, but really excited. Can't wait to meet people that I've interacted with in the Cabal. Certainly enjoyed meeting Jesse and talking to him at the line, along with everybody else that was there. Especially Brett. I was a little nervous. You don't know anybody, and then you come up and everybody's already there in line, and it's that little awkward moment. Like, well, what do you do? Do you be quiet? Do they accept you? So, but it all worked out in the end.
I gotta say, like, as somebody that when I got into this and I found out, about Legion's Con, and I knew I was gonna have to travel and stuff, like, I can't even imagine how awesome it would be if you found this toy line and then realized that the main convention is in your backyard.
Crazy.
It's like hitting the lottery, like, yeah,
crazy.
That would be so freaking cool. So
I took full advantage on the Bayathir in-person pickup.
Oh yeah, you gotta, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the shipping for me was like and I hate to say this, please don't chastise me in the chat, but it was like $46 because I'm so close. But I'm like, why am I going to pay that? I just drive there. I got a pickup truck.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then I won't have to worry about, oh my God, are they going to damage it? Are they going to lose it?
Okay, well, hold on. I want people. Not that I don't think anybody in our chat are any of the people who are like really upset about the shipping cost. So you said it was about $40, and you live about 35, 40 minutes from the studio. So that's $10 per 10 minutes. If you extrapolate that to the other side of the country, so it's almost half the price of shipping it to California just to get to you 35, 40 miles away.
Yes.
Or minutes, whatever. So
yeah, I mean, I would definitely take advantage of that. I just can't imagine how cool that would be, like, to just find out, like, oh, not only is this line cool, not only are these guys like they operate out of New Jersey, but the main convention is in New Jersey, and I get to go to this, and I don't have to drive halfway across the country or anything like that. Like, yeah,
Curtis just doesn't want to drive through Pennsylvania for 75 hours
true.
one way.
That's true. So are you getting a hotel then, or are you just gonna go back and forth from your house?
No, I've got the hotel room Saturday for Sunday.
Gotcha.
I was told by a couple of people, don't worry about Friday, because Friday is just basically, I think they call it G-Con or something, where they just do seminars and they talk about stuff.
I would come up for G-Con, but you don't have to stay the night. I mean, I don't know. I'm a little partial. Like, I'll be there probably Monday that week, all the way through the week, just because, like, even if I only get to see one person on Monday or Tuesday, it's one more person that I didn't get to see, when I'm at home, sitting in Missouri. So I like as much time as I can just to have as many conversations, as many meals, as many just individual experiences as possible. But yeah, I mean, there's, with you living as close as you are, I mean, you could just pop up, go to G-Con, go back home, come back the next day, whatever. So, yeah.
Well, I would say, don't miss G-Con. If you can take the day off and come to G-Con, I mean, that's where they reveal the whole big mythic wave for the year. So it's not just like a seminar. It's how they did the Baethier reveal special?
Yes.
Did you get to see that? It's like that, but you get to sit in the room and watch. Like,
okay.
I mean, you got to be quiet, but you get to sit there, and then Joe Fasopolo usually brings the figures out and puts them on the thing, and you get to see them and talk about it, and you can linger around. And then as soon as that's over, usually the vendors get to go start setting up their tables, but everybody else is like hanging out in the hallways. So it's like it's a great way to like get to know people before you're standing in line with them on Saturday.
Okay.
So
all right.
Kevin here says, I thought G-Con was just for interns. So it used to be. It used to be that, I mean, you could always watch G-Con on YouTube. Like they've had them, they stream it each time that they do a G-Con. But as far as in person, they started doing it with the intern event. So they would bring in the interns on Thursday. We would do intern for a day. And then on Friday, they would bring the folks back for G-Con at the studio. Well, 2 years ago, when they were going to go do that, there was something going on where they share their space that they operate out of with a prop company, BB Props. And between the stuff that they had in at the time and the stuff that BB Props was taking up space, they didn't think they were going to have a space big enough to house G-Con for that year. So they decided that they were going to do it at the hotel. And so they found a spot within the hotel that they could do it at. And because they were doing it at the hotel, the interns got in, but also they opened it up to anybody else that showed up. And then they did the same thing this past year. So while it's not just interns do get first seating. So if you put in for the intern for a day and you win, you and whoever you bring as a guest do get to go in to G-Con and sit first before they bring everybody else in. But it's basically been open up to everybody for the last 2 years. I will say that 2 years ago, because a lot of people didn't know that they were going to do that ahead of time, we only filled maybe about half the room. Last year, it was standing room only. Like we filled up every single seat. There were people standing in the back. They were, bumper to bumper. So, this year it might even be more packed. So, if you're there early enough, or if you have an intern, you'll definitely be able to get into the event. So,
well, I took that Friday and that following Monday off to recuperate. So I know Adam is flying in, I think Friday afternoon or Friday evening, and I got to pick him up. But you know what? Now that I hear you talk about this, I might go out there Friday morning.
I get like 3 weeks vacation for the year. I'm using almost 2 weeks of that for Legions Con. I got the Monday through Friday, the week leading up to Legions Con, and then I think Monday through Thursday the following week to recover. Because it is, like after, especially with, I've got a long drive, so it's, there's that part of it, but then there's also just the emotions of it, like, seeing everybody and hanging out and having like this real super high. There could be a little bit of a post Legions Con kind of crash afterwards. Plus, a lot of people just don't get enough sleep during the event because they want to stay up till 2-3 in the morning hanging out, talking to people, and then you got to be up early in the morning to get to the event. And you got to make sure that you take time to eat right, drink right, get some sleep, shower, use deodorant, all that kind of good stuff. So.
Optional. That's the one aspect, the toys aside. All right.
Yeah.
That's the one aspect I'm really looking forward to. As a toy collector, you don't really meet a lot of people that hold the same interests. Like I was a closet toy collector. Nobody at my job, what are you doing collecting toys? That's stupid. And even my wife, to an extent, she's like, what's the point? So meeting people who actually have the same interests, the same hobby and stuff, it's like really refreshing that I could actually have people that I could talk to about this, and instead of being a closet collector.
Have you ever had tomato pie?
Is that directed to me?
Yeah.
No, I can't say I have. I don't know what it is.
So the House Steel brothers typically bring a tomato pie to G-Con. If you've never had it, imagine like a thick crust pizza with no cheese or toppings that's also cold, that's been left out for a couple days. That's basically what tomato pie is.
Without cheese.
Yeah, no cheese, no toppings, and it's cold. So, some people love it. I would say, even the worst pizza is still pizza. And this is kind of like the worst pizza. It's like cold, no topping pizza. So if you're hungry enough, hey, it'll do the trick, but it wouldn't be my first preference if I'm on the East Coast. For it. So, yeah.
It is flavorful and it tastes good. It's not my go-to choice for something to eat, but if someone brings it and offers it, it's tasty.
I mean, if you're at the G-Con event and you've been sitting there for hours and, you got all those people packed in there like sardines and you haven't eaten and it's hot in there and you just need something to eat, cold piece of tomato pie, it does hit the spot, but it's like I said, wouldn't be my first preference for something to eat. But yeah, there you go. I'm not saying it's not tasty. Pie,
it just potatoes any day.
Yeah. If you got like a hot slice of New Jersey pizza and tomato pie sitting next to each other on a table, I'm taking that hot slice of pizza all day long. So yeah.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I had really good pizza today, Curtis. There's a shop right down the street from me. If you come through on the way back from Legions Con this year, we should get some pizza there.
Yeah, I mean, like Benny says, even cold pizza is delicious, and it's basically cold pizza that somebody's taken the cheese off of. I
can't eat cold pizza.
Imagine you order pizza the night before for your family, right? And you wake up the next morning, you're like, you know what? I'd like to have some of that pizza that we had last night. And you come down and the kids have eaten all the cheese and toppings off of it and just left you the crust with a little bit of sauce. There you go.
Yeah.
So. And you're like, damn kids, but I'm still going to eat this.
It's a Philly thing.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Now I know what tomato pie is.
Yeah.
Cold pizza.
It is basically, yes. And
if you get a chance, it's worth trying it if someone brings it.
Dave says I should move to New Jersey. I've considered moving more towards the East Coast, but I have to say, if I was going to move out there, I would probably choose Pennsylvania over New Jersey.
There you go.
That way I'm still close enough to what's going on. But I just feel like Pennsylvania would be a better place to live. So I don't like driving the turnpike. I don't like driving in Pennsylvania, but there's areas of Pennsylvania that are like where you live is a nice area. Okay. Like I would not mind living in that area.
It is.
So, yeah.
The turnpike 100% sucks end to end. I will not.
Yeah.
The roads in Pennsylvania, I hate.
Well,
I wanted to rage quit life on Friday because I had to drive to Maryland, and most of the roads I was on wasn't even in Pennsylvania. I just hate driving.
Well, and the good thing about living in Pennsylvania is
Let me
that you
take
don't
that
have
back.
to
Let me step
drive
that
through
back.
most of Pennsylvania. Right?
Right. I wasn't going to hurt myself. I just meant I wanted to go home and go to sleep. That's all I meant by rage quitting life. Like, I just wanted to shut off for the day.
Yeah, because you're what? Like if you were to break it up, you're probably on the like the far quarter side of Pennsylvania, or you say
I'd say from where I'm at to get to Ohio is probably a solid 4.5 hours, depending on traffic.
Yeah.
And to get to New Jersey, it's just about 2 hours, depending on where you go.
Yeah. So that's a good spot.
So
you're avoiding a lot of the crap.
There's not a whole lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a whole lot in the rest of the state besides Pittsburgh and Philly and Harrisburg, but
I guess I got you guys confused because I thought you lived in Missouri, Jesse, and I thought you lived in Pennsylvania.
Nope, you got us reversed.
Yep.
Jesse did live here for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Missouri for about 8 years.
Because I was saying to my wife, I was like, I think this guy lives in Missouri, and he drove all the way to Toy Con, New Jersey. I was like, that's dedication. Like
Dylan suggests
that one makes a little more sense. You live in PA.
Yeah, Dylan suggests that we move in together, and I'm just not sure that Darla would want me to live in with Jesse while she's here in Missouri. So,
I mean, even if we got a different house and we all lived together, I've been living alone for so long. I don't think I would be a good housemate. Not just to you. I mean, to anyone.
We would let you have the basement. We would buy a new house and let you have the basement.
All right, we'll talk.
Is that a children under the stairs moment?
There's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
There's a whole thing. There's a whole thing that the Purple Gang guys had this whole bit that I kidnapped them and trapped them in the basement with squirrels and made them paint toys and fed them pizza rolls. And then I made a comment about kidnapping Cornboy because he had been sick and hadn't been at a bunch of events. So it spiraled. So now everybody wants to go see my basement that's not mine.
Kevin says North Carolina is perfect. So a couple things with that. Number one, I don't like being that close to the ocean. Like I feel like there's stuff that goes on there that I'm like, I need to be a little bit further back. So, and then also I think I would want to be up a little bit higher, a little bit more north. I'm not good with warm weather. So I need some place that's, kind of a little bit further away from the equator. So, yeah.
Too humid.
Yeah. Yeah. I lived in Iowa for a few years.
It's freaking humid in Pennsylvania.
Nice.
It's just, it's gross here in the summer.
Yeah.
It's not too good here in Jersey either. The exotic smells. Oh boy.
Oh, future Mrs.
Kevin,
just shelved it. So very nice.
Yeah. Do you know something I don't know? Because I mean,
Indiana, I could do. Yeah, I could do Indiana, especially if it would have to be kind of towards probably Indianapolis, though. I couldn't be like in the real like farmland part of Indiana. Like that would be no. So
I think I want to move to Iceland. If I could go anywhere. Like I'm not planning on it.
Iceland's green and Greenland's ice. Did you know that?
Well, sort of.
Oh, okay.
Montana would be my choice.
Montana doesn't even exist.
Why?
Have you ever met anybody from Montana?
Yeah, I've got a buddy that lives in Montana.
I don't know about that.
There's a whole TV show about a girl from Montana, wasn't there?
I have no idea.
Might be Yellowstone. Are you referring to?
I definitely couldn't
No.
pick out Montana on a map. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Dylan. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there is Hannah, Montana. That's true. So
My wife wouldn't want to go to Montana. She wants to get away from the cold.
I need hills and mountains. I don't. Is there mountains in Montana? It's just pretty prairie land, right?
No,
I tell you what,
there's mountains.
Northern California has some mountains, and it's nice up there when it's not on fire. So yeah. I mean, when it's on fire, you probably don't want to be there, but when it's not on fire, pretty nice. So
with my luck, if I made that choice to move to California, that's when the fault line will fail and it'll go right into the ocean.
I've throughout my life, I've lived in Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, and I've never seen a homeless person. Like my whole life, never seen a homeless person. I go to California and they're all over. I mean, they're everywhere. And when I think about it, I'm like, well, if you were homeless, right, and you didn't have to pay rent, you didn't have to pay a mortgage, where would you want to live? It probably would be California. So it makes sense. Like, you know, I mean, if I was like, let's say I just lost my job, I had just enough gas to get somewhere to live the rest of my life homeless, probably going to California. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's a good place to be. So
you know something we don't.
No, I'm just saying it was we did see a guy that we were calling the king of the homeless. I don't know if did I tell you about this, Jesse?
No.
Like everybody else, the other homeless people, like they got their little shopping carts and stuff. This guy had like a 15-foot long, like flatbed cart that was just filled with whatever junk that he'd collected over the years, just like wheeling it down the street. And he's doing pretty good. He's doing pretty, like the other homeless people were looking at him like, one day maybe we'll get there. So, I mean, for being homeless, he's pretty well off homeless, is, you know. So
what you're saying is a real true Beverly Hillbilly.
Yeah. He's got some things happening. So yeah.
Are you talking about tidy at the conventions?
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Those are definitely thoughts that you shared with us.
Yeah. A lot of I think a lot of them do the whole like stoplight thing, collect them, because I'm sitting there like, how do they? I mean, granted, you don't have electric bill, you don't have you know, mortgage and stuff, but you still got to feed yourself and stuff. Like, but I see a lot of them at the stoplights, so maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's how they get their money.
I don't understand candles.
I don't know a lot of candles. I don't know. Not sure.
Oh, sandals. Sandals.
You know what? I wasn't looking at people's feet. But you're probably right. Probably right.
I heard you have a thing about feet.
I just it's not really a thing. I just think that, you know, when people go to conventions, you know, for the most part, they should try to cover their toes and stuff. But I've realized that I'm in the wrong in that situation, because there's a lot of people that thought differently and felt like they needed to share pictures with me that I never wanted to see. And so I waved the white flag and said, hey, wear whatever you want. I will just kind of look upward and not make eye contact with your feet. That being said, when I was in California, I was trying to do that. I was trying to keep my eyes up, and there was a billboard for bunions, and it wasn't like trying to advertise for bunions. It's not like it was saying, it wasn't a pro bunion sign. It was like if you have them and you're trying to fix the situation, you would go to this place and they would help you out. But it was a pretty not appealing picture on a billboard. So in that situation, I had to keep my eyes down. But if there was somebody like underneath that billboard that was also had their feet out, I wouldn't have any. Yeah. Yeah. So, but there you go.
I kind of have the same thought process as you. Feet are disgusting. Keep them covered.
Yeah. That's like my go-to when, like, if I ever get to a point where I'm talking with somebody and I have, like, I like a certain thing or I dislike a certain thing, and they're on the opposite side of the spectrum, and I've given my points and they've given their points, and I realize I'm not going to convince them to change their mind, and they're not going to convince me to change my mind. My go-to thought to allow myself to drop it is, some people are into feet. Like, I just think to myself, you know what? Like, and when I think that, what that tells me is I'm never going to understand this person. I'm never going to understand why they like what they like, because there's some people that are into feet. Like, some people see feet and they're like, yeah. And I don't get that. So
yeah, neither do I.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
So
I'm not pro feet. Like, I don't necessarily like seeing feet. Like, it's not like, ooh, let me see that foot. That's not a thing for me. I don't like looking at my own feet, but I also cannot stand having shoes and socks on.
Gotcha.
So like,
we're a pro sock house. Like, my kids are not allowed downstairs without socks on. Like, if we
definitely couldn't live together. I forgot about that.
Yeah, if you come downstairs in the living room without socks on, you're going back upstairs to put some socks on. So now sometimes they'll do this thing where, like, they'll sit on the couch, like, with their feet like crossed, like, underneath of them, and I don't have to see it. And then I let it slide. I know they're not wearing socks, but I don't have to see the feet, so I'm good. But yeah, so
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Even make the kids wear the socks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll kick them out of my house.
With your socked foot.
Yeah, for sure. I got socks on all any time that you ever see me, I got socks on. I'm just telling you. So
I don't believe that's true.
Yeah.
I've seen photos of you in the Euro Legions chat where I'm pretty sure you're not wearing socks.
Oh, when I'm in the shower? Yeah, if you see a picture of me in the shower, I'm not wearing socks. But if I'm not in the shower, I'm wearing socks. So
not saying that does anything for me either. Just saying there has been times I've seen pictures of you and socks were not involved.
Brian says, I think Schmerber's feet really did a number on Curtis. Listen, I can't tell you whether Schmerber had nice feet or bad feet. I can't tell you whether he had, corns or bunions or like one of those weird nails, the little fungus nail or something. I can't tell you that because I didn't look long enough to see whether they were good or bad. I just saw, I was just like, everybody else is wearing shoes and this guy's got, the digits out. So he may have great looking feet. And I know that's been a thing too. Like, we got, some comments from Stacy and from Tanya and a few others that said that they've got pretty toes or they've got their toes they've got their toenails painted as if somehow that makes it okay to have your feet out. I'm not judging the feet. I'm just saying I don't need to see it. So yeah.
Mark, thank you so much for coming to our toe talk.
Traumatized at an early age.
Yeah. It might be
funny.
I always had to wear, well, I don't think I had to wear socks as a kid, but I always wanted to because we had hardwood floors and I would slide, like I would do the whole risky business, like sliding through the living room. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I didn't have my underwear on, but I mean, I did have underwear on, but I had other things besides the underwear. It wasn't just like the underwear.
Yeah, that image is going to live rent free in my head now.
Me doing the risky business bit, sliding through the room in my underwear.
Stop detailing the image, Curtis.
That's going to be like on PGG next week. It's going to be my head on Tom Cruise's body.
Something happened on Friday night on OffWorld. I was out of it. I was like half asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Did someone say something about like Kill Bill or something? Because in my mind, I had like a Kill Bill, but it was a poster of, I want to say, Joe and Curtis. Like Joe was going to kill Curtis at Legion's Con or something.
He's going to beat me at Legion's Con. Like, so I've been trying to encourage people to bring those Motu Vecnas for Joe at Legion's Con. And
That's what it was.
And he wants to, he basically wants to Full Metal Jacket me, where like he puts the stuff in the pillowcase and beats me with it, you know? So,
yes.
Yeah. So he's going to Vecna beat me. So you can do whatever you
Trevor,
want.
I don't think he has a problem if you airbrush them, just as long as they're covered up and he doesn't have to see them.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want to your toenails. Don't bite them. One of my kids, when they were younger, they bit their toenail. I'm like, come on, what are you doing? That's gross.
That's a line
That's
for me.
Gross.
Yeah. It just went dark fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do I?
Curtis thinks feet are misshaped hands.
You know how like, you know how your tongue knows what stuff feels like without ever actually having licked it or touched it?
Mm. Okay.
Like if you think about a wooden chair,
Mm-hmm.
like you know what that's going to feel like on your tongue.
Okay.
Even though you've never licked a chair leg, right?
Okay.
I just did that with the whole toenail thing, and like that. Yeah.
You know what I'm shocked about is our viewer count has actually gone up since we started talking about this stuff. Like what's wrong with these people?
Mark, do you keep your butter in the fridge or
this is a great question. Great question.
Do I keep my butter in the fridge or
no?
out?
Do you keep it in the fridge or on the counter? Where does your butter stay in your house?
On the counter. Soft butter.
Yep. Counter butter for the win.
Have you ever tried to pull butter out of a fridge to put on a piece of toast or a biscuit?
Ridiculous.
It tears it up. Yeah, you leave it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I use Country Crock.
That's not butter. That's like plastic. It's like melted plastic.
I said that's why I said I use Country Crock. I didn't say butter.
Yeah, but you can't use that. That's gross.
But I do.
Mm.
But you shouldn't. It's all chemicals.
You'd like bars of soap, but it's Vecnas. He's going to use the Motu Vecnas. So, yeah.
All right. So I got a joke for you. A guy's hauling livestock. He gets pulled over by the police, and the police officer says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" The guy looks back at his trailer full of donkeys, and he goes, "Because I was hauling ass."
It's a good one. I like it. Let's see. Trevor says, I knew I liked Mark. Well, because he's got the counter butter. Yeah, I mean, it's the only way to go. So
thanks, Trevor.
Yep.
If I used sticks of butter and I had a buttered dish, I would keep it on the counter. But I don't have those things, so I don't.
So
Dylan says that he keeps two things of peanut butter. He keeps a peanut butter in the fridge for snacking, which I've never heard of anybody just snacking on peanut butter, and then another jar of peanut butter in the cabinet for making sandwiches. What do you guys think about that?
Don't put peanut butter in the fridge.
Yeah, I'm a cabinet peanut butter guy.
Yeah.
Unless it specifically says there are some jars of peanut butter, some brands, the more natural stuff, I think you're supposed to refrigerate, or maybe I don't know.
Why would you eat more natural?
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I just told you I eat plastic on my bagels.
That's true. Creamy, whipped, or crunchy peanut butter?
Crunchy.
What the hell is whipped?
Whipped it's like creamy, but they like whip it up so it's even more soft. Like it spreads super easy. I think they actually aerate it a little bit. They like inject like air into it or something. Yeah. I would say either creamy or whipped. I can't do crunchy. I can't. Yeah.
That's all I had when I was a
crunchy,
kid.
No, I can't.
Peanut butter and jelly.
But I tell you what, Mark, you better not do the peanut butter and jelly in one jar because Jesse he'll vomit. So Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Crunchy peanut butter is pretty much just like, here, have a sandwich with some like fragile gravel in it.
Come on. What's the difference between peanut butter or eating peanuts? It's the same. Just combine them. It's like chocolate and peanut
I
butter.
like peanuts. I like peanuts on their
Okay,
own.
where do you think peanut butter comes from?
Peanuts. It's 100% a texture thing for me.
Okay. All right.
I can do both. I can't do the middle ground. I like the flavor of coconut. I can't eat coconut.
So what you're saying is, if that was the last food on Earth, you'd be a skinny sumbitch.
Fragile Gravel's a great band name.
If it was the last food on Earth, I might choke it down. But like, what am I putting it on at that point? And for how much long? If I have to sustain for a while on crunchy peanut butter, I might just walk out into the ocean and let it take me.
Yeah, the bad thing about crunchy peanut butter is you know it's coming out crunchy too, right? Like your stomach's not digesting that stuff. So
You just like going to dark places.
I'm just saying, like, if you eat crunchy peanut butter, it's coming out that same way. Like and I don't need that kind of extra trauma coming out. So tell you
you're supposed to chew it.
Well, yeah, but you don't like chew every single like crunch gravel. Like some of it just gets into your system. So I tell you what though, traveling now that I've gotten used to a bidet, dude, it's rough traveling without a bidet. Like it's not good, man. Hotel toilet paper, it's like sandpaper. It's not good.
Well, so my solution,
Mm.
I don't have a bidet, but I use dude wipes.
Yeah, I do bring some wipes with me on the road, and it is better than just dry dogging it, but it's not the same as a bidet. So
Curtis, do you know how to use the 3 seashells?
I've not ever learned how to use the 3 seashells. I wish I knew. So but no, I've never learned how to use the 3 seashells. So I think I broke Jesse. What's up, Jesse?
Yeah, he's frozen.
No. Yeah. Oh, was it dry dogging? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about. It's like the rolled up sandpaper hotel toilet paper. Like you can't just wipe that down there. Like you got sensitive bits down there. There's sensitive things going on, and you don't need to be tearing things up with that hotel toilet paper. So yeah.
What the hell, Dusty? What?
I don't know. Don't flush the dude wipes. So yeah.
They're just.
Are they? I think they're flushable, aren't they? Supposed to be flushable?
Yeah, the ones I get are like biodegradable. They're better than toilet paper for that. Oh my gosh. Okay. The ghost of Bushati, not what he typed in here, which my mind is just like he spelled it wrong. Like, why is that in here?
No,
he spelled it wrong.
That's from his little promo that he cut for Legion's Con for their arm wrestling match. So he called him Stephen. He called him yeah, he still called him Stephen Bukkake for Legion's Con. So what's the difference between a cold crunchy peanut butter and a cold Snickers bar? Chocolate and caramel. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's
nougat?
the difference.
Is there nougat in there too?
I think there is nougat. I think you're right.
A little bit.
But somebody earlier was saying that they like Reese's peanut butter in the fridge, which, yeah, I mean, I think here we go, Twizzlers, Reese's peanut butter cups in the fridge. I think any candy bar is better from the fridge. So, yeah, I don't need my chocolate melty. Yeah, so I don't know. You guys fridge your candy bars?
sometimes.
No.
If it's a hot day, yeah. I hate melted chocolate.
Most toilet
Look,
paper shouldn't really be flushed. What are you supposed to do with it?
I wouldn't want to
With a
know.
seashell?
Look at this. Your Cowabunga dude must have missed it earlier. He's doing the same thing as you. He's saying the vein side
That's
down.
a thing. That's not a
I've
thing
never
I
even
was doing.
heard that referred to as veins on the Snicker bar until you guys both said it.
I
tonight.
don't know how you live in the weird puritanical bubble you live in with some of this stuff.
I mean, I've never heard it. I mean, it makes sense. It does look like veins, but I've never heard anybody refer it to as Snicker veins. So
I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's made of a couple different things.
you flush.
Why
them.
are there still so many people watching this? I mean, this isn't Purple Gang level off the rails.
Dirk says it's a Navy thing. I think I don't know what he's referring to, but I don't know. Kevin says he burns all of his toilet paper.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the ones I got specifically say they're safe for flushing.
Hell, it says Snicker Veins is a great chat name for a diabetic support group member. Oh, that's so great. Oh, I love it.
I should have known Dylan would know what nougat is.
It's whipped sugar and egg whites. That sounds good. I like that.
Well, that's why they put it in Snickers.
Yeah.
I put my my tasty cake peanut butter candy cakes in the fridge.
I don't know what that is.
And they're like an East. You know what tasty cakes are, right, Mark?
Yes, I do. It's an East Coast thing.
It's like a brand of snack cakes, kind of like Little Debbie or Hostess, those kind of things. But I think they're the best ones. And the candy cakes are technically tandy cakes, but that was like what the actual dessert was called. But they branded theirs with a K for some reason. Anyway, it's like yellow, like a little piece of yellow cake with a slab of peanut butter and then dipped in chocolate. But in the summer, like the chocolate's really soft. So even if it's inside in air conditioning, it usually gets melty on your fingers just taking it out of the package. So I usually refrigerate them in the warmer months.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll bring some to the next show.
Alan says, "Who is your Mark and what does he do?" So Mark, you want to for Alan joining late? You want to let Alan know who you are and what you do?
I am nobody. I am irrelevant. I am a newcomer to Mythics. Met Jesse a couple weeks ago for the first time at a toy show. What do I do? I am at the same job now for about 30 years. I am a supervisor on a railroad for a private chemical company here on the East Coast in Jersey.
Very cool. Oops. Very, very
awesome.
Cool. All right. I think that might be a show unless you guys got it. Well, Mark, you got anything that you're watching on TV right now?
You know, I kind of gave up on TV a while ago. Once I got invested into a show, it seemed like they just turned around and canceled it. So, you know, why put the time and energy into it? I do more of the streaming stuff. That's kind of what I meant when I say TV. I mean like any shows or whatever. But I'll give you a little tip that I do for the whole like dealing with the canceled stuff. I wait till series are over, and I see how many seasons they had, and then I decide whether I want to watch it or not. So I usually am looking for anything in the 4 to 7 season range. Like if you knocked out 4 to 7 seasons, I'm gonna check it out. So well, I'm a big sci-fi fan. sci-fi, action, horror, stuff like that. Now, I did just watch the Daredevil Born Again on
Yeah, that was good.
Plus. It was good. I was a little nervous about it because some of the stuff that they've put out as of late is not good, at least in my opinion.
Mhm.
But Daredevil, I think they treated right. And I think the Punisher was pretty good in it as well. And I hear he's getting his own miniseries now.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. I thought today that he was the best Punisher.
Mhm.
He just brings, something to the table that's just gritty and dark and hardcore. And I think he was perfect for that role.
You were talking about sci-fi. I watched for the first time this year. I went through Stargate and I went through Battlestar Galactica. So
Which one?
the
70s or the reboot?
the new one, the reboot. Yeah, I need to go back and watch the 70. I think that was only one season though, right? Like 1978.
Yes, you had 1978 and then Galactica 1982.
Yeah,
Which was not good.
gotcha. Yeah, no, I watched the newer one, and both of those I thought were really. I thought Battlestar Galactica, like about midway through season 3, I was kind of hate watching at that point just to try to finish it. But I felt like it finished strong in the last season. But Stargate, I liked the whole way. Stargate, I thought was awesome. So
Let me ask you thoughts. Did you now that's we're talking about Stargate SG-1?
yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about Atlantis.
I did watch Atlantis. It was okay, but I liked SG-1 a lot better.
Did you give Stargate Universe a watch?
I don't think I did because I think Len told me not to. So,
See, now I'm going to tell you to give it a watch.
okay.
If you liked Battlestar Galactica,
Mhm.
I think you'll like Stargate Universe, but be prepared to be disappointed because they canceled the show on a cliffhanger.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it's definitely worth a watch.
Okay. I'll check it out.
More of that gritty cinematography.
That might have been why Len told you not to bother watching Universe.
I think it is. Yeah.
I was mad because Stargate's in my wheelhouse,
Mhm.
and I was fully vested in Universe, and then Sci-Fi just up and canceled it.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why I quit normal TV. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm done. This
Yeah.
is get vested, and they just pull the carpet out right from under you. No.
Yeah. I can see that.
Cowabunga Dude's got a question for you, Mark. Is Unstoppable your least favorite movie?
I'm not familiar with that.
It's the one. If it's the one I know of, it's the one about the train that's like self-powered. It's based on a true story from the trains in Pennsylvania that went for miles and miles and miles across the state without anyone on it operating it.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, that sounds.
It's pretty. It's pretty good. It's Chris Pine, Denzel Washington.
Oh yes,
I want to
did
say it's
yeah.
One of the Scott. I think it's a Tony Scott movie, maybe.
Yeah, I did see that. I think I only saw it like once, and it was when it first came out, so I don't remember too much about it. But Chris Pine was like kind of on my radar because of Star Trek, reboot that they did with that, which wasn't really my favorite. I'm more of a old school Trek, the old episodes. Although Generations, Star Trek: The Next Generation, love it.
Yeah.
There we go. You guys just became best friends.
I like Next Generation. I actually think I liked Voyager better, but
Voyager was good.
Yeah,
Voyager was good. Going to the Bad Robot reboots, I don't like that whole Kelvin timeline direction that they went with Trek. But I will say this, and I know this is going to be controversial. I think that Benedict Cumberbatch was an outstanding Khan in the second Star Trek movie. I got introduced to Benedict Cumberbatch in the BBC Sherlock series, and he played with Freeman.
Martin.
Yes, thank you. Bilbo Baggins in the Hobbit movies. And those two dynamically, Watson and Sherlock, in a modern era. It's just phenomenal watch. If you've never seen Sherlock, I would say give it a watch. It's amazing.
Yeah, I really
It's
like
very
that
good.
series. Me and Darla watched that. I have certain shows that I know that she won't like, and so I'll watch by myself, like when after she falls asleep. But most of them, like we find something that we watch together, and that was one that we both really enjoyed.
I just got finished watching it again. It's an amazing. I wish they hadn't canceled it.
Yeah,
but I understood why, because Benedict Cumberbatch and Morton Freeman, they just exploded.
Yeah.
And MJ Stent, yes, 100% based on any movie or TV show you see that says based on or inspired by true events or a real story. Just know that there has to be like 1% of a real story. Like, because that movie, what's the one where the people come to the house with the masks? Is it The Strangers?
Yes.
Like the couple, they're like on the verge of a divorce and they live out in the woods and the people show up and they're like, can Carla come out and play or whatever?
Yeah. The Strangers.
The whole thing that's the true story that's based on is, I think it happened to the director or the writer, that some drunk person came to their house and knocked on the door one night looking for someone and it was the wrong house.
Oh boy.
That's the inspired by true events. So take that with a big grain of salt when you see that on a movie or show.
Did you watch Elementary?
Yes.
I like that one as well. Thought that was really good. Yeah.
That was the one with Lucy Liu, right?
Yeah.
I think I started it, but I didn't have
yeah
access to the whole thing at the time it was out. So I got to go back and find it.
Yeah, I think you would really enjoy that one. So that I can't remember that dude's name that plays Sherlock in that, but he's really good.
That's the guy that was he was Mark in Empire Records, right?
I don't know. I've never seen Empire Records.
That Thing You Do. He was in that, I think.
He does a really good job of just playing that awkward kind of character for the Sherlock Holmes. So,
oh no, I'm thinking of someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny Lee Miller. That's yeah. He was in Hackers, I think.
He's a weird looking dude, but he's good.
Chuck is great.
I really like Chuck for the first few seasons. I felt like towards the end it was like, I was like, you know, I know that's one of your series that you're like, I think it ended too early. Like to me, I felt like it ended too late. Like I'm towards the end of that series, I was like, man, I just stop.
I was happy where it ended because every season, I know I told you this before, like they weren't sure if they were coming back the next year, so they tried to wrap it up, and they'd have to like reinvent how to keep going the next season. So yeah, I was happy with the way it ended. If it would have ended a season earlier in a similar way, I would have been happy.
Did you see the trailers for the new Mission Impossible?
Yes.
It looks like they're doing that. Like they're doing like a Chuck version kind of thing is what it looks like, because they like strap him into this thing and like put this thing on his face, and all of a sudden he gets like these flashes and stuff, and it's like it's downloading stuff into his head. Like I feel like they're doing a Chuck version of Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
So
I think he's downloading that entity or whatever it was from the last movie.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, that's interesting. That it just feels like a total ripoff of that, but we'll see how it goes. So those movies have been pretty decent, but
I actually wanted to go see The Accountant too. That looked really good.
It's so good. Oh man. Right now it's our favorite movie of the year, me and Darla.
Okay.
We loved Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is really good. But then we saw Accountant 2 and we're like, that it's even better. Like it's so damn good. I just feel like I think the performances are amazing, and just the relationship between the two characters, John Barenthal's character and Affleck's character, the way that they portray those two personalities is amazing. It's just a great tale of those two brothers. but then you add on that extra layer of it's also a badass action movie, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if there wasn't any of the action and it was just 2 hours of those two just like relating to one another, I think it would be a great movie. The fact that you put it in the setting of an awesome action movie on top of it, it just makes it even that much better. So
Yeah. Oh, well, I was hooked with the first movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great movie.
yeah, that's my movie of the year right now.
Okay.
But I know there's a lot of people talking about Sinners too. I haven't seen that yet, but a lot of people talking about that as being really good. So
Yeah,
See, my problem
Accountant
is
2 and Warfare are the two on my list, and Accountant 2, Sinners, and Warfare are the ones on my list right now to go see.
Yeah.
my problem is nobody in my family wants to go see it, and I don't want to go alone because I don't want to be that sad old dude sitting by himself in the theater, keto or something.
Well, there you go. If somebody in New Jersey wants to go see Accountant 2, hit up Mark. You guys can go watch Accountant 2 together. It's really good. You'll enjoy it. So
Yeah, I heard the Thunderbolts were good too.
Thunderbolts is a lot of fun. To me, it felt like the first Guardians movie. Like it was just like this ragtag crew that kind of gets thrown together, and
that's a high bar.
Yeah, there's a lot of comedy and a lot of like you immediately start caring about these characters and stuff. They're just very I don't know, they just draw you in. Like they have these magnetic personalities. But yeah, I really enjoyed Thunderbolts. So
comparing it to Guardians of the Galaxy, that's a high bar.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite MCU movies, is the Guardians movies.
Yeah.
Rocket Raccoon.
I feel like they've really set themselves up for, future use with these characters with the Thunderbolts. Like they've really,
I hope so.
They established a really good starting point for those guys. So
I hope so. I hope them bringing the Russo brothers back to do, the big bad, the culmination for this, bringing Robert Downey Jr. back to play Dr. Doom. I hope it pays off. I really do.
Yeah.
I want to see him capture lightning in the bottle again, like they did with the first phase 1 of MCU going into Endgame and the Infinity Saga.
Yeah, it's they have this thing that they do where like those characters in Thunderbolts, several of them are these. I mean, first off, they're just badasses, right? Like they're not like the flying lasers from their eyes, super powered kind of characters, but they're badasses and they know it, and they're very confident in their own abilities. But then you also see that there's also this like like other side to them where they have doubt and they have loss and they have regret, and so it's not some of that bravado that they have is just them trying to almost fool themselves into believing that everything's okay. So it's really well done. So.
Without revealing anything, is his badassness back from Winter Soldier?
There is definitely a part of the movie, and I won't kind of go into it, but there's a part of the movie where you're like, oh yes, this is Winter Soldier-esque.
Okay.
Bucky, like this is like you're like wanting to cheer at the movie screen. You're like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. Okay. So yeah, you definitely get some of that in this movie.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, because I felt they kind of neutered him in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, and this isn't really a spoiler because it kind of is that way in the what was that really bad one? No, the really bad series that should have been good with the Skrulls.
Oh, Secret Invasion.
Secret
Invasion, yeah.
So within like you see that he's like now like part of like he's like in politics and stuff, and so he's very much like not a hero or anything. Like he's trying to do it on that side of things. So that's where he starts out in this movie. But I think he kind of realizes that he has to be kind of the old Bucky for, at some point. So when that happens, you're like, oh yeah, like this is what I signed up for. So
okay,
yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'll say this. I've seen a couple of videos because I haven't bothered finding the article to read myself, but I guess Kevin Feige and some people did interviews with Vanity Fair recently, and they flat out addressed why Marvel the last couple phases have been subpar, and they know it, and they're talking about because Disney wanted so much content for Disney Plus, and they thought if they just put out Marvel stuff, people would eat it up. But it got to the point where Kevin Feige was spread so thin, and he had final say on everything, that people were having to like chase him down in the hallways to get his approval on stuff. And he just didn't get to give every project the attention that it deserved. And they said Thunderbolts is the first one coming kind of back to that. And I think Daredevil Born Again also got grouped into that. But with these things going forward, it's supposed to be he's overseeing the movie stuff, and he's got someone directly under him that's overseeing the show stuff, and the show stuff will still be connected to the universe, but it won't be, you have to watch the shows to understand the movies, and vice versa. Like they'll be more standalone, but still existing in the same world. So I've got my hopes back. Potentially we'll see how the rest of this year goes and into next year with stuff, but I'm thinking the Marvel stuff might be on the way to becoming what it was again. And Alan put this one up. Want to see a Lake Placid Anaconda movie?
Okay.
I don't really care for either of the Anaconda movies.
Do you see that?
But I love Lake
Placid. They just
Placid.
found that they what was it over in I think it was over like in Africa or the Middle East, but they found this snake that's like 5 football fields long. Yeah, like
It's a dragon.
get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm not. Bring in the military. But on what you were saying there, Jesse, I think there's something to be said for, it was cool to kind of always have something Marvel to be watching, right? Like there's always a new series or a new movie or whatever, and that's cool to have constant content that you can be viewing. But it also meant that a lot of it was subpar. I would rather have less content that's good than more content that's watered down. So I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Well, I had read, touching back on Daredevil Born Again, that the writer's strike was actually a blessing in disguise, because Kevin Feige went and watched what they had already shot, and he was really disgusted by it, and he wound up firing everybody. And then he tapped into the talent that was part of Netflix to come in and redo anything. And one of the driving forces behind that was Barenthal. Barenthal was actually refusing to reprise his Punisher role because they were neutered him, and they were making him say stuff in the script that he would never say. So he wasn't signing off on it, and Kevin Feige had heard about that, and that's when he went and gave it a watch, and he's like, yeah, no, everybody's done. Brought in the showrunner that did the Netflix show, along with a bunch of the script writers and stuff, and once Barenthal saw that, he signed it onto it. So once I heard that, I had somewhat high hopes for that series.
Yeah, I think that the fact that they're willing to do that and bring other people in and kind of change direction, realize that, hey, this isn't good enough, that says a lot. Alberto Morales says Thunderbolts, Marvel Suicide Squad. I would agree with that, other than the fact that it is a million times better than Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad is absolute trash compared to Thunderbolts. So, but as far as the misfits being put together in a group, yeah, absolutely.
Well, speaking of Suicide Squad, what are your thoughts on James Gunn taking over DC? Especially the new Superman coming out.
Yeah. Here, one more thing on this before we switch to that. Dusty said Red Guardian is his favorite Marvel anything right now. I agree with this. I love Red Guardian. They do this like little thing in the movie, which there's been some stuff afterwards. So this isn't a spoiler, where he's like a limo driver. So like it's like post him being the Red Guardian, and he's like a limo driver for people. I would watch 2 hours of him being a limo driver. Like his character is so freaking funny. He's so great.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Oh, he's so good. But
Stranger Things.
Yeah. To your question there, Mark, like I'm a huge DC guy.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was not a Marvel guy. I was a DC guy, and their animated stuff has been awesome over the years.
Yeah.
Their movies have just not been good. And yeah, I'm hopeful, just based on the stuff that I've seen from James Gunn over the years through Guardians of the Galaxy and Peacemaker and a few other things. Like, it feels like he always does a really good job of making you care about the people in the movie. And I think that's something that's been lacking on the DC side for a while. I feel like they've been, had been trying to just catch up to Marvel and like really quickly like throw all this stuff together and build a universe. And I just don't think it worked. So I'm hoping that, bringing him on is them saying, we're going to really focus on the character creation. We're going to focus on developing and writing good scripts and making you like these folks. That's what I'm hopeful of, but we'll see if that's what actually happens. So
I think DC's biggest misstep is they just had too many chefs making the food.
Oh yeah.
There was not one single person like in charge overseeing, like a Feige. So everybody was off doing their own thing, and individually, a lot of the movies were great. I have a love-hate relationship with what's his name in the last 3 Batman movies. I'm drawing a blank
Christian
on his
Bale?
name. Yes, thank you. I thought he played a good Bruce Wayne, but as a Batman, I just could not get past him yelling at everybody over everything. He just over the top with that. But they were good movies, at least the first 2. The third one was a little punchy, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Oh my God. That's got to be CG. Is that real?
I think you're muted, Curtis.
Yeah. You lost your voice.
Yeah, you got.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I
we
think
can.
it's because I had the volume going on there, but no, it's a news story that's out there, and like, yeah, fuck that. that's like, it's like when you see stuff from Australia and they've got their what they call spider season. Have you ever seen pictures of that?
Yes.
Yeah, like,
Don't talk about spiders.
dude, like, yeah, I could not do that.
This big bad Marine is afraid of anything with more than 2 legs. 8 legs? No. I have to have my wife kill him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no thank
Can't
you.
talk about that.
Not on your life.
Nope.
Yeah.
I have got the biggest arachnophobia you can ever possibly imagine.
Yeah, I'm usually not bad with
Hold my empty monster can.
I'm usually not bad with like larger insects, right? Like I don't like small things that can be on you when you don't notice. Like, but if it's a larger insect, it usually doesn't bother me. I just hit it with a shoe or something. But like some of those things in Australia that are like dinner plate size, dude. I mean, that's like straight out of Aliens, right? Like
Yeah.
that's like face hugger stuff. Like, nope, not doing it.
Yeah. I see those videos on TikTok and I'm like, yeah, nope, scroll on by. I can't deal with that.
Even just like when you see pictures of their quote unquote spider season and like everything looks like it's covered in snow, like, but it's just webs. Like, nah.
Yeah.
No, like even not having, like, even if there's no spider, the spiders came out at night, put the webs down, and then they left, and there's no spiders left, just the webs themselves, I would be, I can't deal with that. So
yeah, no.
Do you have to have your landscaper clean that out? Like, how do you do like?
Blowtorch.
Is that a yeah? I don't know, Jesse. Do you think landscapers take care of that, or if all your shrubbery is covered in spider webs, do they have to?
No, that's when you set it on fire, and
That's what Mark said.
I'm seriously about to like just leave. I can't handle this.
Stick a for sale sign in front of the house and leave. Just like Amityville.
Yep. Oh. All right. Well, there we go. I mean, we've talked about feet and snakes and spiders, so I think that's pretty much an episode.
Okay. So I just put my headphones back in my ear as you did that, and I must have hit a button on it because I heard we just talked about feet and boop, spiders. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm glad I missed that part.
Yeah, feet, snakes, spiders. So yeah, I think that's the show. Well, Mark, we appreciate you being on. This was a lot of fun.
I appreciate you guys having me. I know you didn't have to. You didn't know me from Adam, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
I mean, that's part of why this show exists, so that we can get to know people a little bit better.
I guess we know you partially because of Adam, right?
There you go.
Yes, there you go. And I hope I didn't bring your ratings down.
Yeah, I mean that we do that on our own.
View count on the show, so yeah,
it's been up there. Even
we don't do it for the views.
About, yeah,
we just like hanging out, getting to new people, getting to know new people.
Getting to know new people. Use your words.
That's the one. I'm sorry. My brain is stuck on more than 4 legs, and I'm not dealing well. The only thing that should have 8 legs is Odin's horse.
Got that reference? No, come on.
Anyway,
that's. I'm sorry, Jesse said something about. He said camel spiders, and I didn't know what that was, so I had to look it up. So sorry.
I did. You didn't have to pull it up. Oh.
If I had to see it, you have to see it.
Yeah, that'll live in my head.
I've seen it.
All right.
So, funny story. We'll leave with this if you allow me.
Yeah, have at it.
I'm a young Marine.
As long as it's not spiders.
Just got out of boot camp. First duty station is Cuba. Guantanamo Bay Security Forces. On the off week from line duty, you have to run either a night of listening post. Where they drive you out on our side of the fence, and you just go into a bunker and you sit there for about 4 hours and just monitor the area. So I went. It's a 2-man team, and my buddy at the time, his name was Shaw. He was from Newark, New Jersey. Small world. We're sitting in this bunker, and we got our moonbeams, which are the flashlights. And we got the red lenses on, and we're sitting there, and we're doing what we're not supposed to be doing. We're playing spades. And out of the corner of my eye, I see something move on the back of the bunker. I'm like, what is that? And I shine my light. Can't see nothing. Okay. We go back and we're playing cards, and I see it again. Shine my light. I can't see anything. I'm like, am I going crazy? And I ask him, like, do you see that? He's like, no, I don't see that. Let's just play. We're playing, and then I see it again. I'm like, you know what? I take the red lens off, and it's white light now, which you're not supposed to do on an LP. And I shine that on the back of the bunker. That whole wall was full of tarantulas. I lost it immediately. Instead of going out the door, I flew right out of the slit of that bunker, and I started running. Freaked me out, and Shaw was yelling at me. And by the time I realized it, I had run smack dab into the middle of our minefield. And I just had to freeze in place. Talk about shitting yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get graphic, but not only did I shit myself from the spiders, but now I'm in an active minefield.
All right, Jesse. So that begs the question: would you rather be surrounded by mines or spiders?
Mines.
If there's spiders or mines, I'm running onto the mines. intentionally. That's it.
All right.
Next.
Well, Mark, appreciate it. This might be the most that Jesse's ever cringed in an episode. So we'll have to mark this one, maybe put it in a playlist for people. So,
Well, thank you for having me. It was fun. Had a blast.
Absolutely.
Glad to meet you, Curtis.
Same, man.
Thanks, Mark.
We'll see each other at Legion's Con, but
Absolutely.
we're gonna put you backstage. If you've got to run, we totally understand. If not, hang
I'm
out,
good.
and we'll be with you in just a minute.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yep.
No, Dusty, I'm not digging them up and throwing them at the spiders. I'm just running. I'm running into the mine. Like, I'm throwing myself on the mines, like splayed out to make sure I hit one of them.
You're like Captain America jumping on the grenade, only it's not to save anybody else. No.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's a show, Jesse.
Yeah.
Peanut
It's
butter,
a show.
feet,
Not gonna have a good night now, Twizzler.
spiders, snicker veins.
Let's leave the show. Let's leave the show on a good note. Next week we've got a guest.
Yeah.
A guest we've had on before,
Yeah.
but he's doing something pretty impressive. I know has been. I recently learned is something that he's been wanting to do for a long time. So, folks, join us next week as we bring back our buddy Brian Lynn, aka Carver Customs, as we talk about the initial thoughts and plans for his CarverCon. As we he recently announced that this is something he's going to do. He's got a venue space set for next summer in I believe it's in Columbus or Columbus area of Ohio. So this is going to be great. Make sure you come back next week and hang out with us and Brian. And Brian's just a cool dude to hang out with. So
I will tell you right now, if he doesn't bring Stacy on with him, I'm not staying for the show. I'm leaving. So
Stacy is 100% invited. I did not specifically say that to him, but I just assumed she would be there. But in case that was not clear, Stacy, you are welcome on the show, and we hope you're
not only welcome, you're needed. If you show up with one Lynn instead of 3, I'm out. Just letting you know.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's Nerf or nothing.
That's right. You heard it here, folks. Nerf battle next week. So
no. That's it for the show. Make sure you go check out Horseman in stock sale. Wolf King. Remember, Len is gone until the 13th. And then he will be back and start shipping stuff out after the 13th. And there's also, remember, that Swig bundle where you can get Swig at the in stock sale price with the bonus head and hammer.
And get your Chris head.
And get some Chris head for yourself.
Yep.
Yes.
Really?
There we go.
Wow.
Everybody, thank you so much for being here, Curtis. Hope you're inspired to hit baseballs this week, or whatever that story was about.
Also, tomorrow, everybody enjoy my birthday, and just remember that I am the birthday present to all of you. So
he is. And with that, see you next time. And
what's for your birthday?
On your shelf birthday? No!